Hey everyone, welcome back to Nintendo Prime Podcast Season 2, Episode 61. We got
I think eight more episodes till the big one.
Yeah, 8 more episodes till the big one. And might be the last one of Season 2. We'll have to wait and see. Trying to work on some stuff behind the scenes for Season 3. That being said, welcome. We're gonna go and do what we always do. We're gonna start a show introducing our guests and ask them what have they been playing lately. So let's go ahead over to Game Bird Classic. Flapping away over there. All right,
the Game Bird Classic. What's up, man? First off, thanks so much for having me on the cast. Been playing a few games recently. I've dove into the new Splatoon Side Order DLC. Really enjoying that. And I gotta say, roguelikes aren't my jam typically. There are a couple of exceptions. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. It's not perfect, but really good time. Totally recommend it for anyone who's a Splatoon fan who hasn't tried it out yet. I'm also
the DLC, the expansion.
The DLC, yeah, it's fun. It's got a nice little addictive loop. Also playing Yakuza 0 for the second time. I've been on a little bit of a Yakuza kick. I know it's not Nintendo related, but those are the two big ones. Yeah, sorry, but yeah.
All right. Sabrina, Saffron City back. You had to come back for the Pokemon show.
Hey everybody. So yes, I am Sabrina from Saffron City TV. Recently y'all don't be too disappointed in me. I have gone back to my tried and true Animal Crossing. I've been needing it, y'all. I have been feeling the pressure lately. So Animal Crossing has been helping to kind of take the edge off lately, and that's really what I've been needing. I've just been needing to like relax and chill. So that's what I've been doing lately, outside of working way more than I ought to be.
Did you start your island in winter?
Do what? Say that again?
Did you start your island in winter?
No. I actually I've like restarted my island like, I don't know, 6 or 7 times. And this one I actually started back in the summer of last year. But I always have a tendency to put it down and then pick it back up, especially like when I'm feeling stressed. It is my go-to stress reliever game. So that's what I've been doing. I have been designing like a mofo.
What does that mean?
What does mofo mean?
Yeah.
Ain't no way you're that out of touch.
I mean, I'll say it if we need to.
Yeah, you know what? I think we might need to.
I've been designing like a motherfucker.
Hell yeah.
That's right. You heard it here.
Jake isn't even promising anything about keeping it
You know
clean.
what,
It's
guys?
all
I've
nasty.
been gone. I've been gone 2 weeks. I'm fucking keeping it nasty. I'm keeping it filthy tonight.
That's all right. We need it. Half our show is missing tonight. Not a problem. We have these lovely people here. So and Jake is back. Someday we'll have actually the original 4 back. Someday. I don't know when. Eric's gone another week. Andres has just been randomly gone like 4 of the last 5 weeks. So and Jake just said, I'm peacing out, bro. I'll let you know if I ever come back.
What are we going to do without Eric dominating the whole conversation? How are we going to get through this stream without Eric blabbing the whole time?
I honestly don't know. I literally said you carry the show. I don't. What
he does. He is.
You sure you can't join from your phone? You're on the road. Just get on your phone. Join in.
When Eric's not here, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. His vivacious spirit keeps everybody on their toes.
And then we got Favlam back again this week. Wanted to come back because there was a Pokemon.
Pokemon. Hi, Jake. You can see again. Good to see everybody again.
Yeah, what have you been playing?
I've been playing. I picked Arceus back up, ironically enough, just because I was getting some Be Real. I think I stole this last time, but I've continued on my just like running around and completing the Pokedex, hanging out. I also been playing Mario Party. Been doing a lot of like modded Mario Party, where we do like a cheat code thing. I'm doing that later tomorrow on stream, so make sure you check it out. But yeah, that's what I'm up to. Mario Party and that, and then Valorant because I'm addicted. Gotta get that in my veins. You know, that riot,
Hey.
my riot drug of choice.
Keep it clean.
Yeah, dude, you need help.
I didn't know
I
we were
really
talking.
do.
Wait, are we really
At least it's
injecting
not
right now?
League.
Wait a
At
second.
least it's not League of Legends. Okay, it could be worse.
Okay. All right. Tommy at least tied it off.
Yeah,
Mike. Sorry.
Hi.
Mike, who the hell are you? What have you been doing lately? Playing lately, not doing. I don't care what you've been doing. What have you been playing?
I don't know anymore. I don't know. Anyway, hi guys. I'm Mike Odyssey. Welcome. Thank you for the invite. Nice to meet you all. Cast.
Literally last minute. He messages me like a minute before the show. Hey, did you fill Andra's spot? No. All right, I'll be there.
Heck yeah. Mike,
That's the way to do it.
I mean, I messaged Nate. Well, I was actually playing a game, so I put it on pause for Nate. You know, this is the moment where it says, you know.
Aww, yeah, okay. Nobody cares.
So I made the mistake of saying, oh yeah, Mario versus Donkey Kong. I'm gonna use that to at least fill my space till next direct. I finished that in about 4 hours. Was it 4 hour play? You know, in one sitting. And I'm like, what the heck do I do now? You know, so I went back to Final Fantasy VII. And I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's on the TV right now. Actually.
heck yeah.
Right there.
Hey.
And then for some reason I got picked to get a code for the rebirth. I'm like, oh crap, I have to finish this one before to get the rebirth tomorrow. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
nobody's mentioned Rebirth like actually playing it yet. So
I'm playing. Well, you don't have to play that one to play Rebirth. That's great.
Comes out tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, but they had a public demo. And I think it transfers over if I remember right.
Yeah. And then for the codes, they don't give you the codes before now. They give you the codes midnight on midnight of the day of release.
Yeah, they do that with a lot of content creators.
Yeah. So I'm playing Final Fantasy VII just so I can maybe try to. I'll probably start Rebirth next week because I'm not gonna finish it in time.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Well, yeah.
You should play if you haven't. You should play the DLC Integrate. It's like 2 hours. It's short. Really good.
Integrate
For Final Fantasy VII.
You kind of need to.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that part.
It's like 2 hours. It's a really solid 2 hours. Just do it.
Not this week. The following week, I'll start.
Yeah, you can plow through it pretty quick. If you just want to get to the end, you can get through it pretty quick.
I just found Ares right now, so I'm not even close to the end.
It's a pretty. After I beat it, I was like, man, you know what? I bet you I could have played this way faster than I actually did.
Yeah, I beat the original, and that game is
you don't want to beat it too fast.
Well, considering I had never played Final Fantasy VII in my life, I actually was taking my time and reading everything and taking everything in. And then I'm like, you know what? I probably would appreciate.
You want to make sure you enjoy it.
Once I got to the end,
there's only one way
to the end. I was like, you know, I bet you I might like this more if I actually played the original Final Fantasy VII. I actually loved it, to be fair, without playing the original. But I was like, oh, I didn't even understand this was a reference to the original game. And like, there's an old new thing going on. Yeah. Didn't even know because I didn't play the original game.
I played the original game and I beat the original game on PlayStation.
I now know because I went and I basically watched all the cutscenes and all the story for the original to really understand why this splits off from it. And I'm like, oh, this still's clever, mother effers. You know what? What am I doing? Motherfuckers.
That's
Hey, we're past the YouTube.
Get the curse words up in here.
Yeah.
Cursing.
Letting it all.
I'm Nintendo Prime, bitch.
Dude, you just start talking? What the fuck?
Wow. That was really aggressive.
Did that actually work? I don't even know if it works.
If you wanted to say, I'm Nintendo Prime, bitch, then yes, it worked.
Did it come through like super clear too?
Yes.
It did. It was fantastic, Nate.
I'm Nintendo Prime, bitch. All right.
You like hit it
on my soundboard.
I'm Nintendo Prime, bitch.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. Cool. Maybe that means I actually got my stream deck to work on this thing. I have no idea. Anyways, that's actually something I drop whenever I see haters in the chat. I just hit that button. All right. Jake, what have you been playing lately, man? It's been what, weeks?
Did you open the Steam? Yeah. Did you open that portal back there yet?
No. You're gonna be there like a year from now.
First of all, I just want to say, Chat, you guys are awesome. When you saw that was back on the show, I missed
Yeah.
you guys just as much as you missed me. I love you.
Yeah, they've been asking every
Not
week, and I'm
really
like,
platonically either. Let's be real. There's a little thing going on between all of us, Chad, and I'm here for it.
You
Um,
did.
Anyway,
he's the 2-inch for a reason. Come on.
Hey, how come you haven't opened up your portal yet? I have been trying. I have been dying to get my hands on one of those, and they're
you should
sold
have told
out
me. I could help you that
everywhere.
one.
Yeah?
Literally, he's like
Not
the
on the
hookup to
black
get
market,
anything.
surely,
That's
right?
like literally what I do.
I have been trying really hard
You
to
just send
find
you a
one of
text, dude.
them.
Go right now in like 5 minutes. Refresh this page. Get it in.
Yeah,
because I've been.
now that I know you
looking.
want one, I'll help you.
Oh, well,
easy.
grazie.
Yeah, no problem. There's honestly a lot more restocks now than there
Oh,
used
really?
to be. And that's the thing. You're not on Twitter, right?
No,
That's
I'm
like-
not.
I know. I
Like, all
can't
the
tag
couple
her when I
accounts
put out the
Twitter,
general
turn on
tweet.
notifications, and
Yeah,
like
you
it's
just
so
are.
easy.
Yeah, like what is it? Wario64. He's really that's a good account to follow
Yeah,
if you want.
I used to do it.
He
Not
used to.
anymore.
Well,
He's a retiree, but he still has all the hookups.
Exactly.
He
Well,
knows what's up.
I
I'm
need to
hoping he
figure it
maintains
out.
them for Switch too, even if he's not going to help. He can help me. I got to get 3 of them.
Yeah, I got you. But anyways,
Maybe
Final
4.
Fantasy VII Rebirth coming out tomorrow. For those of you who don't know, the original Final Fantasy VII, not remake,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is my favorite game of all time.
Mhm.
So I'm definitely very excited for that to come out, but it's probably gonna take me a few days to get around to playing it. But I think the last time I was on the show, I was playing Dead Cells, and I've still been playing a ton of Dead Cells. I haven't had a full clear run through, which I've beaten it in the past, but I started like a save file completely from scratch. So I've just been playing it like a little bit every night, but I'm playing it a lot and I've been enjoying it. It's been a nice little just like a 20-minute before you go to sleep.
Did you check out the Castlevania DLC for that?
Yeah,
I was curious how was it?
It's cool. So like when you get DLC for that game, it just unlocks different paths. It's not like you start in a new journey. It's just like,
Oh, that's nice.
After you clear the first level, instead of going to normally you can go to the sewers or like the thing that's up higher. I forget what it's called. And then if you have like the DLC, you have the option to go down like to the Castlevania world, and then it goes from there. It just adds like more options, so it just makes the game bigger. So the Castlevania DLC is cool though, especially like the weapons, which if you've played Castlevania, you recognize all the weapons, like the cross, and like obviously like the whips and stuff. So it's cool. And what's also cool is if you play it a little bit, the DLC, and you unlock those weapons, you can use them in the main Dead Cells game too. So
hell yeah.
Sweet. Let's see. What have I been playing lately? Well, it's pretty well known since I've been live streaming it all on YouTube Shorts live streams, which is a thing. But I beat Ocarina of Time this past week. Again, it's not like it's my first time or anything. The original on NSO, and that's right. I actually used the NSO subscription for something for once. And now I am like, I'd say probably about almost halfway through Majora's Mask. And then when that's done, we didn't 100% Ocarina of Time because I didn't really care to, but we are 100% Majora's Mask because if you don't, the game's like, I can finish it in a stream. Like you just beat the 4 dungeons and go to the end. So I was like, you know what? We got to 100% this one, or it's not really even worth diving into because it's just too short. So we're still doing that. I haven't done the Andrew and Kathy side quest yet. So if you're still looking forward to like literally one of the best side quests in all of gaming, that's coming up on a future stream. So that's been a lot of fun. And I already know it's been not, I want to say forced upon me, but heavily pushed that we will be doing Hogwarts Legacy next.
Okay.
And I'm doing the Switch version, of course. Since
the
we're a
Switch
Nintendo
version.
channel. Yep, we're a Nintendo
That's a
channel.
bold
That'll be
move, Cotton.
Bold move.
We'll see if it pays
Bold
off.
move. And I've never played it, so we're not trying to 100% it. We're gonna do our thing. I'm gonna go through the Pottermore stuff. I'm gonna have my house, them choose my house when I do the quiz, and then we'll transfer that to the game. Blah blah blah. So it's gonna be fun. I do like Harry Potter, so it is what it is. And we'll see what kind of crowd we get on YouTube Shorts playing Harry Potter because I have no idea. It might be scary.
Didn't the chat label you the Gryffindor of the podcast?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that that's what the Harry Potter verse is going to determine for me when I answer the quiz.
Have you?
I have a feeling I'm going to be a Slytherin.
Not Slytherin.
just
You're
the
a
way
Gryffindor.
my week is going right now. If I
You
answer the
know
quiz
you
this
are.
week, it's going to be pretty dark. Pretty dark answers.
Have you tried
Damn, a little too real
multi-platform
there.
streaming? Like, have you tried like doing the vertical on TikTok at the same time, or does YouTube prevent you from like? Do you have like a contract to YouTube or some sort of agreement?
No, I don't have any contract. No, so I'm trying. So my goal is to eventually, when I do those verticals, to also have them on TikTok and or I don't know if Instagram allows them or not, but
I don't know if they do live.
They have
I think
Instagram
Twitch
Live.
is the
There's
only
Instagram Live.
platform that doesn't
Oh,
let you
yeah.
stream places.
I don't know if you can do it. What's that?
But
Jake?
I got that's me. I got to figure out that because I only realized well, I have a plugin on OBS that lets me do it, but it only that plugin only lets me go to one place at a time. So like I have to find a way to I know I could use Restream or something, but I don't want to stream to stream.
I don't know if it's the same thing you're using, but if you look up Harris Heller, they have he has a program.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's what I'm using. And
is that what you're using? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was what you're using or not. I didn't know if it worked for.
No, I could stream like a normal talking stream on YouTube and then also stream a vertical out to TikTok. But if I want my vertical to go to multiple places, it doesn't let me. So I actually suggested to him that they should find a way to include multi-streaming in the vertical plugin.
Yeah.
Or an extra plugin for it. I think that would be really cool, but we'll see.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, wait,
I don't like going through things like Restream. I'd rather I have the bandwidth. I want to do it all from locally because I have full control. Then I only have to worry about my ISP and not anyone else.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, excuse me.
Nate, did we say where Andre is?
Brother's birthday.
Yeah, he forgot till today.
Birthmas.
Literally forgot.
Yeah.
And then, oh shit, it's my brother's birthday. I can't come on tonight. I'm like, all right.
And then something.
By the way, next time I see your brother, I'm gonna let him know you actually forgot.
Hey, but look at what an awesome crew we have.
Yeah.
There's the positive thinking. There it is. There it is.
Yeah,
That's right.
We need someone to balance out Jake. All right.
All right. Come on.
All right. We got some really big topics for you guys today. We'll be talking obviously about the Pokemon Presents, particularly one game in it, but obviously if you guys want to talk about any other stuff, we absolutely can. We'll be talking about Nintendo going after the Yuzu emulator. Get some details on that from the legal document. If we still feel like it, what's the deal with Switch in 2024? Because one of the things that many people expected is that we would have some sort of Pokemon this holiday. Maybe we don't now. We might actually get to that topic second because it might make more sense now that I'm actually reading this out loud. But what can I say? I'm surprised I even got topics done today. So let's just get into the first one. We had a Pokemon Presents. Kind of cool. This happens this time of year. And obviously, I'm just going to kind of leave it to you guys because I'm not a Pokemon expert. We all know what was announced. So who wants to go first? Because I literally don't know what to say other than I'm glad it's Legends because Legends Arceus is my favorite Pokemon game.
Yeah. So
Well,
wait,
can I ask you one question? You do know that the entire game just takes place in one city, right? You saw
I
that?
know, and that has made me realize it probably sucks, but maybe it doesn't.
It could be really cool.
So
All right,
trusting the Pokemon company to do something good in a city, I don't know, but we'll see. I guess that's the point. I don't know.
So listen. Before the
We didn't
experts
see any gameplay, so we just saw like an animation. So I don't know.
We'll let the amateurs talk about it.
Let the amateurs, let the amateurs go first. We don't sound as dumb, So anyway, I saw a circle. I saw a Legends. No, I'm kidding.
I saw a circle.
I
saw an Eiffel Tower looking thing. Pokemon X and Y. Pokemon X and Y. I know.
You know what? So I was able to identify all the gyms right in that little map thing they showed there because it's
divided. Oh, that's way more than me. I barely even knew it was a Pokemon game.
If they do that, because sorry, continue. Do your thing.
Yeah, if you look at the thing that the map, the Lumiose City, whatever, right? Then it's divided in sections. Okay, yeah, those are little sections there. I have to go through each little maps and defeat the gym guy to get that little badge thingy. So then just go to the other town and then defeat the other guy and the other badge thingy. And I'm pretty sure they all have an elemental thing where one is ice, one is snow, one is fire, one is not even said that, because But that's what I got from the trailer. But I actually enjoyed those little short 12 minutes of a Pokemon Presents that we got. I'm like, hey, it started. Oh man, it's ended. So
yeah.
we were there.
I did like how the mobile stuff was rapid fire. Like that part, I was
I was gonna say
you didn't spend like 5 minutes on each one of these.
Yeah.
Okay,
was-
but the app
what-
stuff was rapid fire, but it was
It was.
still 10 minutes of a 12-minute video.
Yeah, it was the most.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was
that's. I
rapid
feel like
fire.
that's kind of expected with the Pokemon Presents.
I-
They usually spend so much time, don't they, on a lot of the mobile stuff or the weird.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Their little
just
weird stuff
everything.
ideas.
It's just everything.
But-
because it's- yeah.
But this time they spent a lot less time on it. Like they didn't go into depth. They were just like, here you go.
Yeah.
This is what's coming at you. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another
Yeah,
one.
the only one that went on depth was a new one, which that makes sense.
Yeah,
It trolled us.
exactly.
It
So
trolled us massively. They trolled us massively. You know why? Because they hit those points so hard. You're like, wait a minute, they're going so fast. Does that mean we're getting more games? We're getting a remake. We're getting this. I'm like, and then they showed the trailer for Luminous and like, Oh, I think he said, and to end the show, whatever, right? And we're like, wait a minute, it's only been 5 minutes. What? You know?
yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, the trailer was the other like half of the direct. So
the reason I thought they were gonna get more games, just the I liked it, but I didn't care too much about the game just because it's so far out. You know, 2025.
Yeah.
I think
Here's the conversation, sir. So we're talking so far out. We had a $20 super chat come in, related to this topic.
Mhm.
Where Benatas was saying that he's seen some say the presents as evidence that Game Freak has slowed down dev time, but the Arceus reveal release was 21 to 22.
Yeah.
Gen 9 released, 2022. Legends reveals in 2024, set for 2025. Kind of seems like the same old. They just had the DLC that year between. But the thing is, we don't know anything for this year either. So
Mhm.
I think that's maybe the reason, because we don't have seemingly anything coming yet.
So
Yeah, and there
in
was-
my mind, one part of me is excited that it's not coming out until 2025 because that means it's baking in the oven.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
the other part of me is like, well, since we saw so little of it in the trailer, does that mean that they're not very
mean
far
any of
into
it?
production time?
We saw an
So, like,
animation.
if it hasn't been like, did it just go in the oven or has it already been cooking
Yeah.
for a little while? Because if we're only going to let this thing bake for like a year, I
Mhm.
don't know how that's going to turn out.
With the
I
I
gooey
hope
lid.
well, but
I feel like it's been cooking for a little while, and I imagine we'll get to see gameplay at a more traditional
Now,
size direct. I think this was a good opportunity to make the announcement and to tease it. And I mean, I was actually very surprised to see a Legends game in this presents. My prediction for the presents was that we're going to get either another remake along the lines of Diamond and Pearl, or maybe a new Let's Go. Like a gold silver Let's Go or a black and white remake. And then Legends, I was predicting, would be a 2025 announcement and release.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah, we jumped ahead. So I think it was a very surprising and cool announcement.
Mhm.
And I mean, it remains to be seen.
oh no,
Yeah.
come
Based
back.
off of, more
there.
modern.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
He's back, kind of.
So I'll just say, look, I want to go over just some other hitters from that direct just real quick that were like of any worth. So if you're into Pokemon Sleep, basically they're adding Johto Pokemon in the legendary trio, just Pokemon Sleep. If you are into Pokemon Unite, there are new people in Pokemon Unite. Unite's a really big game in the scene, so that's something that's also worth it. Another really cool thing, we were talking about this before the podcast, is they added a trading card pocket game, and a lot of people are confused about that because there's currently a Pokemon TCG Live, and this is different. This is it's more of a gacha game. It's more for pulling. It's for people that like to pull the cards. You can pay real world money into it. The TCG Live, you cannot pay real world money. Technically, you buy the cards and then you scan them in, which so you can, but you can't. And then there's also like little mini battles in it, which I find is really interesting as somebody who's really into the TCG. So
yeah.
I think it seems like a very good way to get fans just kind of like collecting cards or into the scene, even just a little bit.
The new TCG online sucks.
It does.
They changed it like a year ago. And the old one was dated, but it worked well. It was fun. The new one freezes constantly. It's so frustrating.
Yep.
So they needed something new. So at one point I was a top 100 ranked player in the world on like the original TCG.
Oh yeah.
I stopped playing it because the new one's so bad.
Yeah, the new one's.
And so I'm excited. Like maybe I'll actually like be able to play this a little bit.
We'll see.
Like,
I hope it's
yeah.
good in terms of the UI and stuff. And then of
I
course
will say that
go
like
ahead.
the one thing I think is really cool about it is that like I have always been into Pokemon cards for the artwork. So I am glad that like they're doing more with the Pokemon card artwork. I think that that is really cool. We were kind of talking about it a little bit before the stream, but I'm just really not that into gacha games anymore. I used to be, but I've kind of grown out of it a little bit. So I'm just kind of like I would like to have the experience of diving into the card, but I don't know if I want to pay money for that.
Yeah.
No,
I want to know what gacha game is. I don't think I've ever been to it.
Yeah. And then of course what we were talking about.
Gacha. Wait, are you serious? You don't know what gacha games are? Wait a second.
I'm being silly, Nate.
Dude, you work for Apple and you don't know what gacha games are? My phone's full of them.
I know. Yeah.
Gaslighting.
He's a gaslighter.
I'm ready to explode. Let's go.
For the world to
the
see.
shit out of me.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
I actually like the Pocket game because I don't collect. I think I have one box unopened somewhere. That's how much I collect, right? But actually it caught my attention because I like Sabrina was saying, I love the art part of it, and so the fact that you can actually take a card, go inside the card and discover more art inside of it, it was pretty cool. And
that is very neat. I like that a lot.
I saw it as
cool.
a content creator. I saw it as a content creator. Does that mean I don't have to? I can just press record my screen, start opening cards, YouTube short. Awesome. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
I think that there's a lot that they can do because like there's already Pokemon cards where like if you collect like I don't know 2 or 3 different cards from the same set, they'll form like one image if you put them like next to each other. So I'm sure they'll do something with that, which I think is a really cool concept.
I think they should make cards like this big.
They do.
Well, they do.
Those are they have promo cards.
Yeah, they have like the big ones.
Like 11 by 14.
On my shelf.
I don't know if they're 11 by 14, but they are pretty large. They're like
Where's my?
I think they're like 8 by 10.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I would like it for more like for decor stuff, not for collecting. Put them in a frame.
Yeah, if I could find I don't know where my binder is with all of them, but yeah, those exist. Those are.
Favlam, you got the big card binder.
I have like a place where I put them. I just don't know where I put it. Okay, but yeah, though. Then of course, what we were talking about, we got a new Legends game announcement. So in terms of the content of the game itself, we could start with that. Is like the games is hinting at that it is some type of city builder, or maybe you are doing some sort of urban development for the city or the Lumiose City, which is based in the Kalos region. And everybody is very excited about this fact because it is Pokemon Z. If for those who don't know, Pokemon Z was the missing game that everybody thought was coming out. It was rumored it was in development. There's a ton of proof that it was in development, and then it suddenly fell through, and they decided to pivot to Sun and Moon for whatever reason.
And then Zygarde. Zygarde did not make a good impression in Sun and Moon. Zygarde was like a fun little hidden side quest.
Yes.
But Zygarde did not get the time of day in the X and Y games. So I have a feeling Zygarde is going to be the legendary of this game, which I think is super interesting.
Well, the thing about the Zygarde thing is they finished the quest for him after X and Y came out, and when they realized they weren't going to make a third game, they took the quest that was meant for that and just put it in Sun and Moon.
Yep.
Which was to find all the cells and then like have his 10% form, 50% form, and then 100% form. So that was the thing.
So the reason that I know for a fact that Zygarde is going to be the Pokemon, like the legendary of this game, is because if you look at the logo, the Z has that same like hexagonal pattern on it.
Well, that's why
that Zygarde has on its body, and then
it's green too.
And then the A has like it looks like it has like a leaf pattern on it, and Zygarde is all about like environment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. No, you're
definitely going to be Zygarde for sure. Sorry, I was just affirming myself just now.
No. Hell yeah.
Valid. That's it.
I agree. I was just trying to say that, like, I wasn't disagreeing when I was mentioning.
Yeah, for sure.
So
sure.
I'll pivot off of what Sabrina said is I think I want to theorize the story real quick. I think what's going to happen is, since Zygarde, his whole story relevance is that he shows up when the environment is under turmoil, or isn't under, turmoil or whatever. I think what's going to happen is I don't know if this is going to be based necessarily in the past, like as far back as Legends was, but I bet it'll be something like the Industrial Revolution, and all the pollution that came about then. And so I'm sure there will be Zygarde will appear because you're making too big of a city, you're developing too much stuff, blah 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 blah. So,
well, I think that would be an absolutely awesome take, because I was kind of concerned at first, because I was like, is this set in the past or is this set in the future? Or is it set in like present time? Because there's a lot of neon lights, and then you've also got like the hand-drawn plans or the plat of the city. And then so like I was wondering what is it, what time frame is it going to be set in? But I really like your take on it, as far as like it could be that like they overdeveloped the city and now we're redeveloping it. I think that that's a super interesting take, and I would love to see that. That would be super cool. I'm so down for redesigning a whole city. I mean, I love Animal Crossing, so this is like straight up my alley.
I think the popular consensus is that it is similar, like the other one, that it's in the past, right? And that you're actually building the city, hence them showing the blueprint in the presents. But the other reason that like supports that, and that I hope, like, that is a cool idea, but the only reason I want it to be in the past for this one specifically is because I would love to see like the AZ storyline in X and Y was actually really interesting. And it would be so cool, and stuff, if this was during that war. And like AZ was like a main character in it.
So that's what I was hoping for. In X and Y, we got, like, I think people give X and Y a little too much credit sometimes, because they did not explain this war very much. Like the war, the whole big Pokemon war, we did not find out hardly anything about it. When you really go back and you really look at it, even when you try to read between the lines, there is really not a whole lot about this massive Pokemon war. And it, to me, I'm just kind of like, big ass missed opportunity right there. So I am hoping that with Pokemon Legends ZA, that we do get some information about this Pokemon war. I think it being set during the war is a super cool idea. I hope it is set in the past, but specifically during the war would be a really badass idea. I'm just saying, I want to know more about this whole war thing. My only fear is that, as much as I would like that, and as compelling as that would be, and as much as the Pokemon fans deserve a well thought out, well fleshed out story, I don't know if it's culturally appropriate. And we know how Nintendo is with, culturally inappropriate stuff. Like,
but Pokemon Company
with all the stuff going on around the world, I don't know if they're going to touch on it.
Pokemon Company has been inappropriate before. Like, and they're not Nintendo. They're just 33% owned by Nintendo.
That's true. That's true. I'm just saying, like, if Nintendo is trying to avoid controversy,
they're freaks. You know what I mean?
They are freaks.
That is true. I did read about that.
But I'm just saying, like, I think that there's a potential that we might not get that. And if we don't, I'm going to be I'll be slightly disappointed, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what this game has to offer.
Well, we got the imprisonment war 4 times. So,
Yeah,
true.
I wanted to mention something that Vlam brought up about how some of the community thinks there might be some sort of a city builder aspect to it. I have a really hard time visualizing them going this route. I don't know. I have a really hard time seeing Game Freak making the next city builder.
Like,
what I see is this
anything right. Like, stop. They don't need to add stuff, but they also are going to.
They're having a hard time putting out a quality Pokemon game, whether it's performance or whatever. They really need to nail that. They really need to prove themselves. That, like, hey, we hear you. We hear your complaints. We're giving you something solid. But what I expect more is that as the story progresses, as you hit certain marks in the game, maybe new parts of the city are being opened up to you. They've been developed. You're hitting those story beats that open up new areas for you.
I just want to be able to build a cafe. Like,
That would be cute. That would be really fun.
I want to make a cafe.
The exact verbiage it uses in the Pokemon Serbinet wiki is this game takes place in the Kalos region's Lumiose City, where an urban redevelopment plan is underway to reshape the city. So I don't think you're building anything from scratch, but it seems like it could be present day and you're rechanging everything, or it could be a mixture of like you're in the past and you're making it into what the city is today. But I mean, there's just so many details and it's so vague at this moment. But yeah, that is the exact verbiage that is given.
I mean, it could be very basic, like, hey, which sector would you like the library in?
Yeah, true.
It could be as basic as that.
I'm down. I can't wait.
My biggest complaint about Arceus was that it felt too empty. So having it all be in a city is kind of exciting to me. Like that would be sure. And like Scarlet Violet, you couldn't go in any buildings at all.
My question is, if the entire game is contained to Lumiose City, where are the Pokemon going to be at? How are we going to catch Pokemon?
Right. Well,
so my thought,
there's like different quadrants, or it's more than 4, but different like sections.
Like 6.
It kind of looks like Midgar in Final Fantasy VII. Like, did you see how it was like sliced like pizza?
I can relate to that.
So I have a theory that came into my head while I was thinking about this earlier. You know how like in black and white, or black 2 and white 2, I cannot remember what the name of the city is. I think it's Castelia City, where there's a park inside the city that has that has tall grass in it where you can catch wild Pokemon. I wonder if they're going to go that route where like do what?
Is Castelia City the one that's like New York City after the bridge?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. Castelia City, the big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have like a park that has tall grass in it, and you can catch Pokemon. So I would assume that if it is going to be contained to Lumiose, that might be the way that they go about allowing the player to catch Pokemon. Because clearly, I mean, they showed footage, or not footage, but an animation of somebody throwing a Pokeball. So that implies that you are going to be able to catch them. I wonder if it's going to be like how in X and Y, y'all remember the Safari Zone, how you could like change it out and it would change the types of Pokemon that you could find.
Oh, yes,
in
what
a
you're
Safari
saying. Like,
Zone.
yeah.
So like I wonder if like depending on the kind of layout that you have for a specific section, that determines what kind of Pokemon you'll be able to catch. It's
that
a
would be
thought,
neat.
but
That'd be
I don't
very
know.
cool.
That would be cool.
I hope
I'm hoping it's just such a massive city that like in all those quadrants, there's just different environments, and there's just different Pokemon, and it's like that huge. You know what I mean?
Right.
I have Nate, I have an image that somebody shared in my Discord. If you want to share it, of the areas, like they went in and divided the areas for Lumiose City. And so there's like 5 areas.
Yeah, so this is what I was saying. Like, I feel like in the story, new areas are going to open up to you. Like, maybe you start and you just have one of those sections available, and then you unlock the second area, then the third area. But Jake, you made a really good point about how the first Legends game Arceus felt kind of empty, and it almost felt kind of like a proof of concept. I feel similar feelings with Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, where Tears felt like a much more dense and feature-rich experience.
Yeah,
as great
I like that comparison, Gamebird, because like it being empty isn't necessarily a knock. Like Breath of the Wild is still an amazing game, but a lot of people thought it felt like a tech demo compared to Tears of the Kingdom.
Sure.
So it's not like necessarily like criticism.
Absolutely. But what I think would be really cool, and this is getting a little weird with Pokemon, but we all know the Pokemon world has a serious gang problem. So I'm just imagining this big city just infested with gang members. The weird guy in the alley.
Hopefully,
hey, kid,
oh my god,
more.
I hope it's not Team Flare, because Team Flare are not good. Not good gangsters.
Well, if it was 3,000 years ago, if it is in the past, like Team Flare, not even Team Rocket's a thing, right? So like,
right.
But I could see like a new team. Like, I hope
so. I hope so. I didn't really like Team Flare, but I could see some hooligans up in here.
Yeah, some kid with shorts who loves to battle. Yeah.
So this will be the entire map. There's nothing out here
Yep.
in each area.
Yep. Yeah, I can see the concept of. I mean, each of those little spheres.
The way
can
that
be very
works, it looks like those
Pokemon and-
empty spaces could just be like wilderness with Pokemon.
Yep.
Yeah,
like
that's
part
what I'm
that you can catch
thinking.
Pokemon in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
I'm thinking
And
the
these are-
same
these are the
thing.
gyms, each gym.
Also, the city. If this is like a 1-to-1, by the way, this looks amazingly massive. And I know I've heard nothing
Yeah.
but like people trying to frame it, serving it in Central Leagues, trying to frame it as a as a negative thing, and I just am like, this looks sick to me. This
Well,
looks
It
like
does
the
look
perfect
agree.
amount of
I
game.
like it
and-
too.
Like, here's the thing: every Pokemon fan for like the last 20 years has wanted a
Yeah.
game that's multiple regions. Like, if not
Yeah.
all of the regions, like what we got in Gold and Silver, and then maybe even like a third region or something.
Sure.
So to see like something that we wanted so much and then have it take a step back in their eyes, like it can be. I can see how a lot of Pokemon fans will be frustrating. We know how Pokemon fans can be, but like I'm with you guys. Like I'm thinking like not to just throw out like a generic comparison, but honestly, like I think a lot of people that are excited about it are thinking like Grand Theft Auto, like level of city, like with
So
Pokemon.
can I throw something out there real quick?
Yes.
So I am thinking that this is actually going to be a good thing. The fact that they've scaled it down, because clearly Pokemon has a hard time doing gigantic maps and gigantic large spaces. So if we're scaling it down, that means that this tiny little Lumiose City is going to be content packed, and
Right.
or at least it
I would
better
prefer that. That's
be.
what I was getting at.
Hopefully.
I would prefer that,
Hopefully,
yeah.
hopefully feature rich and dense. I know with Arceus, one of the things that I really missed as a Pokemon fan was gyms. You know, I
Mm.
love gyms and gym battles, and I always look forward to those in Pokemon games. So I hope there's a robust amount of gyms in here, and like gyms are opening up as the city is being rebuilt.
That'd be
but
cool.
my
That'd be very
but
cool.
I do have a concern with like I get what you guys are saying with like having something a little bit more compact and less open world per se, but at the same time I do have concerns, especially because we know this is a Switch 1 title, possibly cross-gen. You know, that's yet to be announced if that's the case. But I am a little bit worried about a very dense and robust city and how that's going to perform with a company that's struggled to, you know, get
I mean,
its
the
game series
pop-in,
that it's
the pop-in is going to be your
pop-in,
bestie.
bad textures.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
Well, and
I am really
hopefully
concerned
that
about
is
that.
not the case. Hopefully, like, because it is so condensed that they will put their time into the textures.
Yeah.
They will put their time
Yeah.
into making sure that it runs well. Like, because they don't have this massive, gigantic world to focus
Sure.
on, hopefully they can put their energies into some of the more detailed aspects. And
Sure.
judging just from this picture alone, it looks like it is fairly detailed. So
Right.
I'm hoping that that extends to all parts of the game, including including the pop-in and the textures and, you know, the graphics and and everything. Like, I really do
Yeah.
hope that what's gonna be the nail in the coffin is if they reduce the size of this world to just Lumiose
Mhm.
City, and it still has pop-in, and it still has poor textures, and it
Yes.
still is
Yes.
super freaking
Yes.
buggy.
Absolutely.
You know, cricket tunes all over the damn game. Like, we're gonna not the Pokemon itself, but
Right.
just the bugs. Like, if we have
Totally.
bug issues, it is going to drive people away from Pokemon
Oh, I
in
see what you did there. Sorry.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm done.
In
I'm done.
droves. But you know, then again, there's always the people like me who no matter what they do, I'm still gonna buy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm that
Unfortunately,
I'm
I
that
am the
Pokemon
problem
fan.
high.
I'm the problem too. I buy every mainline Pokemon game, and I always like it's always the first week. You know, I'm just like, this is the greatest ever. This is the best Pokemon ever. And it's always like after that first week that I take off the rose tinted glasses, and I'm like,
Mhm.
maybe,
But honestly,
You know, the thing
maybe
is
things
are
aren't
that
as good as
anybody
I thought they were.
it's worth it.
anybody who is sitting
Yeah.
on the fence anyone who's sitting on the fence as far as
That sounds
Legends is
uncomfortable.
concerned is
I
gonna fall in either one direction or the other. I seriously doubt that it's gonna be like "Ooh, this game was okay." It's either gonna be, "This was a badass game and I loved it to death," or "This was absolutely not my style and they hate it." I feel like it's going to be, I don't know if controversial is the right word, but controversial is the word, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have high hopes for this game. I think that they're gonna.
Same.
I think they're gonna do a good job on it. Compared to Violet Scarlet, I think with this one, I agree with Sabrina. I think because
I love Violet and Scarlet. I thought that was the
world,
best one in a long time.
they're taking their time. I hope it doesn't come out in January. I really hope it doesn't come out in January. I hope it comes out in the middle of the year, maybe the November next year.
I finally
What's
have
up,
something
Nate?
to add. So
Let's hear it.
Game Freak does have multiple teams working on multiple projects. And
Yeah.
I wonder if the Pokemon Legends Arceus team literally just went straight from Arceus into making this game. So it's
Yeah,
actually
I would
been in
say-
development for quite some time.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I would
I think
bet
so.
money that is the case, just because of like like you said, they split the teams, and so I would say that they have like a team now dedicated to that, and then they have like, since we're this
My
is our
only
Legend
thing with
thing,
that,
and then
Nate, is like, if that's true, like it does make me nervous. We haven't talked about it yet, that they didn't show like anything really.
yeah,
They showed like the concepts of the city.
I think I think
they show the
so. So
concept
just to be clear, I think that one thing the Pokemon Company did last year is, and took a lot of people by surprise, they started showing Pokemon stuff in directs. So I think what they wanted to do was just get this out here now for just the hardcore Pokemon fans, the only people who watch presents, and the general gaming audience that they probably feel like latched on to Legends Arceus in the first place.
Dude, I'm not asking for a whole thing. Show me 5 seconds.
Yes. But, there is a rumor direct happening in April, and you might get your 5 seconds there.
Stop.
Don't forget, guys.
I'm just saying it makes me nervous. That's all I'm saying.
If this game is cross-gen too, they might want to show it for the first time running on a Switch too. Don't forget.
And that leads me to my next point that I think could be a good transitional topic.
Are you just like advertising like vitamins over there?
Yeah,
like,
these are great if you feel like.
I know what they are. They sell them
sponsored.
at Walmart. They sell them at Walmart. I know.
Okay.
So I hope that Favlam is right. I really do. I hope you are correct. I hope that they did just go from Legends Arceus to this one. And I hope that they do have a dedicated team to this game. And if so, maybe the concept, maybe the whole reason that they're just showing us the concept art right now, or the, advertising kind of thing, is that I think what is the possibility that they are showing us that because this is going to be only for Switch 2 and Switch 2 hasn't been announced yet?
Well, it's not only for Switch 2 because they included
they have the Switch logo in it.
Okay.
Logo.
I don't think it's on Switch 2 at all. I think it's been developed just for Switch.
I mean, that is a Pokemon thing, that it would just be for Switch.
Right. Yeah. That's how they usually do it. I will admit, when I watched the Pokemon Presents for the first time, I was like, oh shit, did we just see like the first tease of a Switch 2 game? Because normally before any Switch game trailer, they do the logo with the snap sound effect. Mm-hmm. And that's in the trailer that they posted afterwards, but in the Presents, it doesn't do that. So when it first was showing, I was like, oh, snap, did we switch to
no snap?
But then of course at the very end of the trailer it did show the little square that said Nintendo Switch. But
well,
they had me for a moment.
There are two things I think you could throw here. Is so one, the positive copium view of this is, oh yay, they're taking their time with it. We can go back to that question that was donated. I don't know who donated, but somebody did. Oh yay, they're slowing down, they might be letting it cook. Two, I saw Arlo, Blue Puppet Man. He gave the opinion of, while that could be the case, it could also be the case that they are waiting for Switch to launch, and that is why I got pushed. Not because the messaging internally actually got to them, but that they're waiting for the second Switch. And
why does that give me the ick?
It does, because normally games on a system that's just beginning. Right now we have 150 million people versus.
I really hope. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I
hope that's not
didn't
the case,
interrupt you.
but
anyway. I hope not.
I mean,
But that's a
that's
good
what-
point though, Favlam. Like that is possible. That is a really good point. I mean, I know Arlo said it, but I'm glad that you brought it up here because yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
But also keep in mind, like, not to say that like Game Freak is for sure going to put it on Switch too, but I will argue that even though in the past they've always released a new one on the previous gen, even post launch of a new console, they're making big open Pokemon games, and they have been getting slammed release after release for being not performing well, really bad textures, horrible, like just horrible experience, not horrible experiences, but you guys know what I'm saying.
Especially Scarlet and Violet was the first time that they had negative press, like general negative press.
There could be interest that they never really had before when developing, like, hey, like we're getting berated release after release, even though they still sell really well. Maybe we should put this on newer hardware as well to kind of alleviate some of the restrictions we have on the base Switch.
Yeah.
Well, the only downside to that is
speculation.
Right.
Yeah.
But the downside to that is that if they rest on their laurels in doing so, they're gonna have a bad time. Like if they're gonna put a game, if they're gonna bring a Pokemon game to Switch 2, they need to be on their A game because people are gonna be expecting that. People are like, me personally, I've been giving them way too much benefit of the doubt, I think. But it's my favorite franchise, so you call me biased, I'm biased, but at the same time, if we get a Pokemon game that comes out on the Switch too and it looks a little too similar to Sword and Shield or a little too similar to Scarlet and Violet as far as looks and performance is concerned, I will be highly, highly, highly disappointed.
Question is,
well, I think the gap between Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield is a lot. I think the Sword and Shield and the gap between that and the 3DS games was like almost nothing. But I do think they made, like, even though the performance was pretty shitty at times, I do think Scarlet and Violet was so much better than Sword and Shield. So I think they're on the right trajectory. And like, even though there's been a lot of hate in their games, I think they very clearly listen. Like the fact that Pokemon Arceus was made was from listening to what people wanted and trying to give us exactly that. Scarlet and Violet, people still wanted the traditional thing, but they wanted all this different stuff implemented. So they tried to give us all of that. And I think they bit off more than they could chew, which is why you can't go in the buildings, like a lot of stuff. But it seems to me like they're listening and they are making improvements. Whereas I think before that, Pokemon kind of peaked in the DS era. And then it was all downhill from there. And then finally, Sword and Shield was the bottom. And I'm not saying that, like,
Scarlet and Violet was the bottom, but sure.
Up here.
Hold on.
And Sun and Moon was a little lower, then Sword and Shield was a little lower. That's what I'm saying.
I get the concept of
the trajectory was down. Yeah. And I think finally now the trajectory is going back up. That's what I mean. So I am hopeful.
I hope so.
Yeah, when you hit rock bottom, there's got nowhere else to go but up.
This is probably unpopular opinion, but I actually really love Let's Go, the Let's Go game.
Yes,
and maybe part of that is
I love them.
No, Sabrina, don't say that.
Wait, well, I think part of it is definitely the nostalgia. I really
don't
love
say that's
that.
fair. You don't have to say that.
No, it is fair.
I
Keep
love
talking, Game Bird. I'm listening, Game Bird.
You're supposed to gatekeep. Come on.
Every
time you say Game Bird, he's got a flat.
shit. When I have a bad take,
gives a whole new definition of peacocking.
You know me. No, but no, Let's Go. Like Let's Go was it was like nostalgia definitely played a factor in it, but it played great. It was a lot of fun. I liked the art style. It was simple, but it was charming and cute. And it I don't know. I thought it was probably, even though I like Legends more because I like that freedom, I like it taking that step to the next level of what I want Pokemon to be. looking back on all of them with all my gripes, Let's Go's probably my favorite of the Switch Pokemon. With Arceus a very close second. It's just some of the, like Jake mentioned earlier, some of the emptiness, it kind of feeling like a proof of concept. I can see where the Legend series can go, and that gets me really excited as long as Game Freak really commits themselves to putting out a quality Pokemon game. And they can do it. There's no excuse. I know a lot of people like to throw out, oh, they were doing handheld games, their first time on a home console. There are a lot of companies that are a lot smaller, have a lot less resources. We're working on consoles for the first time. No excuse. You got the money, you got the resources. Give us quality Pokemon. And hopefully Arceus, or not Arceus 2, Legends 2 is going to be, a head turner for people.
Yeah, I think
Well,
that
yeah.
the other thing is, one thing that I think everyone here wanted was them to like take a year off, like, and just like spend time making a game good. And the way everything's lining up with the card games and the anime, it looks like we're kind of getting that a little bit. Like they are able to like really work on stuff. So I'm excited for not only Legends, but Generation 10, whenever that gets announced.
2026.
And my only other question to you guys is like, do you think that like Black and White like remakes by Ilka could still come out this holiday? They just didn't want to announce them yet because they want the maximum.
not-
I don't know if it would be this
Not this holiday. Yeah.
No. But I really want it.
I think
Black and
maybe
White's my favorite.
2025. Maybe 2020.
Yeah,
maybe spring 2025.
So they would have two
At
in the
the
same year
earliest.
instead of doing one this year, because this would be the first
Well-
time in history that Pokemon didn't have a game come out 2 years in a row.
Especially if it's made by Ilka, I could see it happen in 25.
Yeah.
I don't think we get any new big mainline Pokemon games. I could maybe see like a spinoff or something, but I feel like they would have announced that. I think it's genuinely like they are just taking a second.
I think
rethink
you're right. It could be a spinoff, but I do think something Pokemon comes out 2024 by the end of the year.
Probably.
This is right.
So-
We were right.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, where are we at? 1 being I'm not excited. I don't care. I could care less about a Pokemon Legends game. 10 being I'm pooping my pants. I'm super excited. Where are we at?
Oddly specific.
Coming from
Look at the
inside.
8.
Yeah,
I'm like an 8.
I would say I'm
I would
at like
say-
an 8.
Yeah.
I have my
I'm not-
reservations, but I am hyped.
I don't want to get my hopes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll
it-
give it a
Being
5.
shown nothing. You know, it's just right. It's purely based on the promise of the first game and our hopes, right? Because they've shown nothing.
First game was good.
Exactly.
First
First
game was
game-
good. So.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first game overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think again, I use this as transition to the next topic is like we were saying, it could have been delayed because of the Switch. Next topic, Nate, what's going on with Switch? Or are we doing? Or do you want to go?
Yeah,
'cause I know
no,
you
let's
wanted to switch
let's go to Switch because it kind of makes sense since this was
Okay.
like
That's fine.
because the biggest thing about this is there was a lot of expectations something would be announced from Pokemon for this holiday. But people considered it to be safe, even if it was just going to be another outsourced BDSP situation, which might still exist. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Could still get announced at a future event. You know, the year's not over. It's early. But the interesting part is without a Pokemon game, at least at this point, we nothing known, not even a spin-off game or anything known coming out later this year. Outside of all their remakes and remasters they have coming in Princess Peach, 2024 ain't looking too hot right now for Switch.
Yep.
Is there
Yep.
any like concern that it's going to be a
Exactly.
very, very weak year?
I mean,
So
I'll keep it
they're-
real. 2024 looks rough in general for gaming,
they're
especially
fine.
with all the layoffs and everything else. Oh my
Yes,
god!
yeah.
The
I think
layoffs, sure.
I think layoffs for sure. It's been
Yeah.
a terrible year for the industry so far, but I think as far as games go, maybe not yet for Nintendo, but as far as games that are coming this year, I think this year is already off to a phenomenal start. Especially I don't know about you guys, but if you're an JRPG fan, like you are in for a ride this year. There are a
Oh, yeah,
lot
I
of
mean, Final
fantastic
Fantasy
JRPGs.
and- yeah.
Persona,
I missed
Metaphor.
Nope.
Yeah.
We have one other new Nintendo game, Endless Ocean Luminous.
Yeah, that's in May.
that is
May 10th.
I'm
technically
a-
a Nintendo game. They own
I'm
it.
a big Endless Ocean fan, so
So
Yeah. So
I have
you're
never
right.
even heard of it. I was excited to see it. I was like, I don't know
The-
what this is. This looks
The
cool.
only reason I know what it is because of Game Grumps. That's it. Good.
So,
good stuff.
I played the hell out of the first Endless Ocean and the second one, but at the time I was in college, I was studying marine biology, so I was like, hell yeah, I'm gonna be on my Wii and learn for school.
Heck yeah.
I loved learning on my Wii.
But no, as far as the remainder of 2024 is concerned, I mean, it's looking a little scratchy, looking a little, maybe a little
Yeah.
shy on the excitement there.
Nintendo's had years like this before where everyone was
Mhm.
like the second half is going to be not a lot, and then they would have like a May direct, and then they would just completely fill up the year, and it was like crazy.
Yeah.
Sure, but I think the problem is
remember a couple
we came into this year. Well, the difference is, at least for me, and I can only speak to my own game taste, is coming into this year there wasn't like a big game to excite me,
Yeah.
even in the first half. Like, yeah, there's a lot of content, none of
Yeah.
it's exciting to me.
Yeah,
They've had something every single year of Switch. There's been a big first half game, and there just isn't this time. So then you're like, oh, you're just banking and hoping that there's something in the second half. So now I gotta wait.
I think it's common for them to not have
10 months?
great first half games. Like
What
I
are you
remember
talking about?
Yoshi's Woolly World was the biggest one year on a pretty stacked year.
What
yeah,
year was that?
last year was
Which is like the same as like Princess Peach in terms of hype for me.
What year was that?
It was one of the earlier ones. I think it was a teen. I don't know what year.
Yoshi Holy World release date.
Well, last year we had a good year.
Yeah,
Last year
that wasn't near Switch. That was before Switch. Are you talking about Crafted World?
Yeah,
Probably
World,
Crafted.
sorry.
All right. Crafted World release date. So that came out in 2019.
Huh.
Hold on. I'm trying to see what else came out exclusively in 2019.
Sure.
Just to see what. Okay. Okay. Trying to see things I had released because I know that was Luigi's Mansion 3, but that was second half. Oh, they had already announced Animal Crossing, but that
didn't come out.
That didn't come out. That didn't come out till 2020. And we already we technically in the first half, although it didn't come out till summer, we did know about Astral Chain.
Yeah.
That's like same level as.
But we also, but we don't. That's the thing. We knew Fire Emblem Three Houses. We knew about that game already before it came out in July. Like we already knew that game coming into the year was coming. So like that's what I'm saying. We don't know about any big game unless you want to argue Metroid Prime 4. But we've known about that since 2017, and the status hasn't changed. It's still TBA.
Yeah, I don't think that there's like. I think there's a chance we get some solid releases, but I don't think we're gonna get any juggernaut title. Possibly Prime 4 if that's gonna be a Switch exclusive, maybe a Switch 2 version at a later time. But I mean, we're on the heels of a new console launch rumored for early next year. The holiday game, for all we know, could be and this again, this would be exciting for a lot of people. It's obviously not a new Mario or a new Mario Kart, but maybe their holiday title is that remaster of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, something that's exciting but not your big release. Maybe we get some more cool third-party stuff like an Astral Chain 2. You mentioned Astral Chain. I know their Deca Police is one of the games that's in the works. Maybe some more stuff along that level. But I don't know. It's tough knowing that Switch 2 is possibly delayed into early next year. Really changes how you look at this year.
And like, but like going back to that 2019 year, like I'm even looking at this point in the year, we already knew about Super Mario Maker 2 was coming. We knew about a new Pokemon game that was announced literally at a Pokemon Presents. This is the first time we've been in a year where we don't know about any like I
think that this is speculation, but I think you're making mountain out of a molehill. I think that they're just going to have a direct and announce a bunch more stuff, and I think that part of the reason why it's not announced as soon as it has been in other years is because they just had to delay their whole follow-up system, which probably messed everything up how they were going to announce things. And I think they're just reworking that. I think when the next direct comes, then you're kind of arguing that
their plan was Switch 2 this year. You don't just suddenly
Yes,
have a bunch of
I
games.
think that is the consensus.
Okay, so if their plan was Switch 2 this year and it's been delayed, then they don't magically just have a bunch of Switch games to reveal. That would actually support there isn't much left to come.
They
Well,
would have
maybe
had
if they're-
Switch games either way.
Maybe they're cross-platform.
Yeah, but I'm
yeah.
talking about like really big games, and so my
Yeah.
point, like games that make me excited. I'm not excited for any of the current lineup coming up for the rest of so far
Yeah.
for the rest of 2020. Like I'm just talking about for myself.
Yeah,
like
'cause we
there's
don't
nothing
know 'em yet.
exciting coming. I know, but if the argument is that well their plan was Switch 2, well if Switch 2 is pushed back, then that means all the exciting games are pushed back. So there won't be anything exciting for me this year.
Well,
I think there would still be exciting Switch games. Like Pokemon was always probably planned to be just a Switch game. And I think there's a holiday Pokemon game coming. And I think that there's true with other franchises that don't need the power of a Switch 2 that would still be coming out cross gen, and they're still fine to release those. They just need to rework their presentations and how they're doing everything since they're delaying Switch 2. And then Nintendo, they're going to be very they're going to make sure it's perfect, just how they want. And I think it's fine.
I just think we bunch of remasters and ports.
I think we'll get remasters and ports. I think we'll get some cool third-party stuff. Again, like I said, not juggernaut titles. It's not going to be, your new Mario, your new Mario Kart, your new Zelda. But like, hey, we've gotten announcements that are really cool. Like Dread. I think what was that announced 2 months before it launched?
Exactly.
I was announced in June.
Okay, June, and then that one was it August or September? That
was October. That was October.
Okay, so a few months before launch. So I don't
the
know.
2 months before was the OLED. They announced the Switch OLED.
That's
right. Then they had the white Joy-Cons that everyone was like, "Oh, that's a Metroid Dread system."
That's
so
right.
can I throw a curveball out there?
Let's
What
hear it.
would be really cool that could come out in 2024? It could come out anytime, but what would be cool? If they released like the old school Pokemon games on the GBA on the Nintendo Switch Online.
That'd be
That would be cool.
It gives
right?
me a chance to play Pokemon games in a cool way on YouTube Shorts.
I would love that, but they're such dicks about
Or
it.
it would.
I gotta catch them all, baby.
Cool.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah. It would also be cool if maybe they put out like a DS for the Nintendo Switch Online. I don't think it'll happen, but it would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be nice. Oh, go ahead.
It would
I
be
think
cool.
DS makes sense to come to Switch too, where they can maybe have a
agree.
gimmick to implement 2 screens better. Like maybe you can be playing the actual Switch 2 and have a screen on your TV at the same time. Like,
or maybe there's
maybe the Switch has 2 screens.
Or maybe there's a clever way where it's not obvious, but the controllers can actually just connect to the side, and you can hold your Switch sideways, and you have a top screen and a bottom screen.
Yeah,
or you could, have it to
there
where
are
like
accessories that do that because there are some games that use vertical on Switch. But I was sitting there like, the one thing that would prevent DS from doing that would be the Joy-Cons don't connect to the side. But what if there was a clever way where it doesn't look like they do, but they actually do connect, so it doesn't look weird? Like I don't want it to look weird. I don't need rails everywhere. I don't need 4 rails all around my. But some sort of clever thing.
Or some sort of tech that tethers it to the TV without having to physically dock
I know
the
what
console.
it needs to be. No, here's what they do. Planning to bring DS and 3DS. They don't have to put the rails. Just include an accessory that nobody uses except for that purpose.
Yeah.
How many of you even use those damn little tiny things to make the buttons bigger on the side when you hold the Joy-Con sideways? Most people, it's like a throwaway accessory that most people don't use.
Well, who really
include a throwaway accessory,
but
include a throwaway accessory, but this accessory enables you to play DS and 3DS games.
Yeah, or I don't know if they would do this, but like if you have the 2 Joy-Cons, if like one controls the bottom screen and the other one controls the top screen, I don't think they would do that, but just an idea.
To be honest, I got to be honest with you guys. Whenever people talk about bringing the old Pokemon games or like bringing 3DS or DS to Nintendo Online, I'm like, I couldn't care less. Like you can just hack a 3DS and put every game ever made for the DS and 3DS on a 3DS. Like you could, and even if you don't want to hack it, you can play any of those games. Like you can play any Pokemon. Like if you're a Pokemon fan, you have all the Pokemon games like that you want to play. Like you can
Yeah,
emulate
there's
them.
just I
Like,
Some
and
people don't do
listen,
that, though.
I'm real
it's
big
just
on
so not exciting to
emulators
me.
because I have to use emulators. So,
Yeah.
that being said, I just know that there's a bunch of people out there that won't touch an emulator with a 10-foot pole. Like they don't want to put it on their computer. They don't want to risk getting viruses from downloading ROMs. They certainly don't want to go into like hacking
And
their
they don't deserve
actual
to play. No, I'm kidding.
3DS. Huh?
They don't deserve. They
I
don't
said then they
deserve.
don't deserve to play those games.
Oh,
All right.
jeez.
Let me see
I
your
can't
dedication.
disagree
Let me see
more.
your.
I feel like
Let me see your
I'm
dedication.
kidding.
it should just be more
See your
accessible. I mean,
dedication to having your identity stolen just so you can play Pokemon.
No, I get it. And people that like I do get that, but just for me personally, it's just so not exciting to be like, oh, this game that you could have played every single day for the last 20 years, now you can play it here too. Like it for
I
me, it's
just
just
think
not very exciting.
I would
Yeah.
if I were to have a kid, I would hope that they would be able to play a genuine Pokemon game on a genuine Nintendo system and not have to play
Sure.
it all janky on a computer. I
Sure.
hope that they are able to go back and have the experiences that I want, or just for those people that are like me, or I think you said that you do the same thing. Like whenever you go into a new game series, you like to go back to the oldest version and like play your way up. Jake?
Yeah.
There's
Nope,
also
he's
the
out.
Yeah, no. That
the
honestly, you put it really well. You put it. That's like, there's no way I can respond to that without like disagree with you without being a huge dick. So
Yeah.
like well put.
Yeah, let's just be honest. You're a 2-inch. We can't go that far.
And destroyer. Okay, you leave out the destroyer way
I
too
just wish
often.
that they would.
Yeah,
I just wish that they
I
would.
try not
It
to
would
think
be
about
cool.
that portion.
I would like for Pokemon Pinball to come
I
to the
so speaking of like kids enjoying
Game Boy
things,
Advance.
my children played the hell out of the NES and SNES Classic.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
love more classic systems like that coming up with collection.
True.
Yeah.
Then they truly are getting that kind of experience I did when I was younger, but in a
Yeah.
more convenient way, and not having to
Or
have
for, like
70,000 triple or double A batteries around.
Right,
Right.
or for, like,
Yeah, I
my
know.
grandma who loves those old school games, and now she can play them
Mm.
on the Switch. I would like to see, like, if I'm paying monthly or annually for NSO, I feel like we should be getting more content. I don't know, maybe that's
I
just me.
Yes,
No,
Like,
I
I
agree.
agree.
I agree. I agree.
we
And
need
we
more
know
games.
Nintendo already plans a smooth transition from NSO from Switch to Switch 2 to the successor. They're running out of games that people are going to really care about to sign up for Switch Online. They really got to build up that library and give people a reason to want to experience that and enjoy it. DS is one of the best selling consoles of all time. The thought of having that entire library locked on the DS or locked on the 3DS is criminal. And Jake, I hear you. People can emulate and play elsewhere, but for a lot of people, and for most people probably, they'd like to play it on their Switch, and play it at home and on the go and
Well, playing
really
DS or
have that
3DS
more
games on
Nintendo
Switch would be an
experience.
inferior, like a subpar experience, anyways.
It
And I mean, the
would.
fact
I
is,
will agree, yeah.
Unless
The 2
Switch 2
screens
3DSs are
have
more
to be done
expensive now,
well.
but you can still buy one, and whatever the cost you're paying for the 3DS itself, and like a 500 gigabyte memory card or SD card, it takes like 30 minutes to learn how to hack it and be able to place any game. It is so easy, and you don't have to understand a thing. You can watch a YouTube video that takes you step by step, a 10-minute video, and you might have to keep pausing, so it takes you 30 minutes, but literally a 10-minute video that tells you exactly how to do it with links to everything you need, and then you have a 3DS with the entire library forever. You know what I mean? So that's
Mike, I
I
feel
hear
like
you,
you've been
but
awfully quiet, Mike. I wanna know Mike's opinion. Come on, Mike.
I do
Mhm.
Hop
not
in here.
condone. I do not condone piracy. I want to put that in front there. Second,
yeah, me either.
I'm not against emulation. But
Yeah.
can I go back to the Nintendo Switch lineup for the year for a sec? Real
Yeah.
quick?
Yeah, go
Yeah,
for it.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is
yeah.
a topic, technically.
So far, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games counting Endless Ocean. So that's already half of the year. And if you don't count December, because Nintendo hasn't released a game the past 3 years in December, that's like the sales. Then let's say we have maybe 4 months left, 5 months. left for Nintendo to release games. I have a little graphic here. Can I share it, Nate?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
I mean, they got a lot of content coming. Just none of it interests me.
Yeah. This is Photoshop, by the way, just right here. So can you see it?
Yeah. Got it.
All right. So basically, this is the fiscal year, right, from March to February. So this is what Nintendo has so far. March, this one, and then they have
Can I
nothing
make it
else.
bigger by chance?
Oh, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Hold on.
Why
I
not?
can make it bigger on my end too.
You see
There
it?
we go.
A little
that's
hard to.
That's
Better?
Oh, that's no, that was nice. All right.
Better?
Yeah.
All right. So if the rumored Nintendo Direct happens, right? I'm going back to what Jeff Grubb said about him hearing about Metroid having some type of presentation. He said May, right?
Yeah, but then he also said that it was a long time ago he heard that, so it's probably not.
Yeah. So let's say that he heard something, maybe it's still lingering somewhere out there, right? Then I would actually make more sense if it happens during the Nintendo Direct in April. And so we have some Metroid things happening where, of course, we will get that Shadow Drop Metroid Prime 2 and 3 HD. And so I will put that in April. Then Endless Ocean was announced for May. In June, Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door. Summer, Luigi's Mansion HD. Then I can't think about August right now. This is one of my subscribers shows us Tomodachi World. I guess a lot of people are asking for that game. In the same direct, it would announce Zelda, the ports, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. And then in November is when we get Metroid Prime 4 as this year's big title. Yeah. And then, of course, in December is time to spend your money, go broke. Then, of course, I put these two. This means 3D World Mario game for Switch 2 and the new Mario Kart, which is that. I would say if Nintendo has a lineup like this, for me, I'm okay waiting for 2025 for the Switch 2 because at least we have some games that, at least in my opinion, I wasn't able to play this one or these two, So this will be a good lineup for me for Nintendo to actually have lined up for the rest of the year. Although I am not on board with 2025, I still think we'll see Switch 2 before. And
I think we'll see it. I think we'll see it. It just won't come out.
I'm sticking to it. If Nintendo reveals a Switch 2 this year, it's coming out this year. I don't see a way for Nintendo President Furukawa, being a finance guy, to just throw away a holiday season, and just chuck it up to a price drop on Nintendo Switch to sell consoles. They won't sell anything if they announce the system.
10 million Switch 2s in early 2025.
If Switch 2's launching with if Switch 2's launching with a new mainline 3D Mario or the next Mario Kart game, I don't think they care at all about launching on holiday because they know either of those is going to move units personally. But I do agree. I think it's better to launch holiday just because, all the parents are out, everyone, like, it's the hot item that all the kids are going to want for Christmas and stuff like that. But I do think Nintendo's thinking a lot about what they're going to launch this console with and what their first year lineup's going to look like. It's a huge reason for the success of the Switch was having a killer first year, having a big Mario, big Zelda. I don't think they care about when, as long as they have that killer game ready.
Yeah. And I keep saying if Nintendo reveals this year, it's coming out this year. That's what I believe.
Right.
If they reveal this year, it's coming out this year. This is all in case it is thrown back to Switch 2, and this will be an alternate reality where Nintendo can actually give us good games this year or ports to push it back and keep some people happy.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that'll be happy. Like if you like cozy games, there's a lot of interesting stuff on the horizon. Fantasy Life,
Lumiose.
That's without counting third party. Yeah, that's without counting.
For me, this year isn't as doom and gloom. Thousand Year Door is one of my favorite games of all time, so I'm really excited about that title. But I hear people, it is probably going to be a lighter year than we were all hoping for.
All right.
Do we think that a new Smash game is going to come out with Switch 2?
Maybe in
I think
2027.
Not for the launch year, but I think we'll get a Smash on Switch too.
2026 maybe if they're working on it right now. Like Sakurai's kind of indicated that he's back to working, so it's probably already working on it. So
all right,
give us a new Subspace Emissary, please.
True.
We'll see. I think whatever it is, it's going to be very different than people expect.
Absolutely.
Because he said
they'll
reinvent in a new direction. So,
but I agree. I think that's the right thing to do. But I do want a story mode. I love like the weird games like that.
Could be the direction. Maybe it's heavy story mode, and the multiplayer is like an afterthought.
I don't know about an afterthought, but just Nintendo's so weird and quirky. Just give us a weird story as to why all these characters are duking it out. Make it so weird. That Nintendo's at their best when they're really
movie level quality. We saw the Mario movie. I expect that now for every cutscene period.
The only thing that makes a Smash story a little hard is the fact that Nintendo uses a lot of characters that aren't theirs, and the companies that own those characters are very protective of their property. So when it comes to actual story stuff, like it would be, I'm sure a lot of companies would be open to stuff. They might want different things, and to get everyone to agree on like.
See, I look at it like this. I think they're going to reset Smash, and it's only going to be Nintendo characters, and that's the change. We stick just to Nintendo, and then you have creative.
I think people would hate that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, here's the thing: people are going to hate it regardless because it's not going to have a billion characters like the last game.
You know what? You know what would be cool if Smash.
Sakurai literally said they can't do it again. They can't do that again. That was the point of
Nintendo always tells the truth about everything before it comes
Sakurai
out.
does. Sakurai's very open on everything and how he makes games.
It would be cool if Smash just made a Fire Emblem version. Just Smash Fire Emblem. Because they have so many Fire Emblem characters in it.
Sakurai would probably love that.
Dude. Sakurai's probably got a private. Sakurai's probably got his own private build that's nothing but Fire Emblem characters.
Sure.
Right. That would be. I mean, I would be down. I would be playing that one.
Pokken Tournament is for Pokemon, and that wasn't really that popular. And Pokemon is a much more popular franchise than.
It's gonna be a free-to-play game now, and it's gonna be you're gonna have to buy every move they make and stuff, and that's how it's gonna be.
And people say like Smash, they did that. No one bought it.
Mike.
Oh no!
Say it ain't
don't put that energy out into the world. Take it back.
With all honesty, what I believe that a good route for the game would be to actually have players level up, and you can actually train your own player. And then that way, when in competitive mode, you've been training this player, teaching him new moves and stuff like that in order to, there's a patent out there where it allows you to carry either Pokemon or characters in the controller, via a thing, right? And so let's say you want to compete in a tournament, you carry your own player.
Well, they did that with Let's Go. You got the Mew out of the controller.
Yeah. It showed like a little Joy-Con kind of controller where you can actually carry.
That's cool.
Information. It can be saved data. It can be saved data or a character. And so maybe have a structure where you can train your players now, right? You can actually train each player. You dedicate yourself to one player, train that player to the max, teach it all the moves and stuff, and then have that player compete. And that way, when you play with your friends, how long have you been training? Oh, I've been training this guy for 8 months now. I have him this level, so many moves at this level, whatever. Just add something to make it interesting rather than just throw it out there.
With games like Smash Brothers and Mario Kart, I would love like a story of Mario Kart, but I think Nintendo wants to make those games like ones that you can come back to over and over and over and just jump into a quick match. And I wish they had like story modes too, like for sure. Like I love Diddy Kong Racing and like Crash Team Racing if you guys ever played that. But like I think Nintendo is like, well, if you want a story game, buy one of our story games. If you want a racing game, let's keep it a racing game. If you want this fighting game, let's keep it a fighting game. Yeah. And like they just have
trying to
so
lock
many
it into one
and so many genres, and they're open to using their IPs for different stuff. Like there's a billion different kind of Mario games, right? Like, but like whatever game it is, they want to keep it that kind of game. They've always been not the best with stories,
right?
Yeah, it's not,
I mean that's a fair point. But I mean, Subspace Emissary was kind of like a story mode, and they've done little story modes in some of the Mario sports games before. So I wouldn't say it's impossible. And if Sakurai is looking to kind of reinvent the wheel a little bit, having a story mode that's doesn't have to have the level of detail as like a new Mortal Kombat game where it has like really goes hard on story, but something fun for your first playthrough. And I think it would be cool to tie it in with one of the things I really miss from the older Smash games is secrets. Like bring back secrets in games. I remember being in middle school and someone telling me in Melee that if I left the game on for 24 hours, it would unlock Mewtwo. I was like, bullshit. I love all the
problem
weird
with
secrets
that
they
is
used to have.
we didn't have like the internet that could just
Of
tell us
course.
things in 5 seconds. So they could do that today and no one would care because they would just watch a YouTube video telling them how to do it.
But I wouldn't do it. I don't like spoilers. I mean, unless there was like a
You would eventually.
Unless there was a character that I'm like, dude, I have not figured this out. But there was something less rewarding
I think you're right.
about characters just showing up just from playing. That's for me. That's me personally. I kind of like feeling like, oh wow, because I did this, it like now I get to challenge this character and try and get them in the roster.
Dude,
I know,
honestly,
it feels a little
the way
bit cheap when they just hand it
now is to have like different conditions. So like the same thing doesn't unlock it consistently.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Like,
think
maybe
randomizer.
Like one of a few different ways, but they don't
Randomizer.
always all work. So you can't look it up. Kind of. You can. You can try. You can look up all the different things, but you can also just find stuff like organically.
Oh, here we go. Pokemon Company apparently loves Nuzlocke.
Yeah, I think the next match.
They totally don't get mad at you if you
freaking do that.
Yeah, they're gonna go very big.
They need to just. I swear, Pokemon needs to add a freaking Nuzlocke mode. Like, I would like it.
Just embrace that. I don't they're so against it for some reason.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that so much. It's like you have such a large portion of your freaking player base that loves playing this way. How difficult is it for you to code in Nuzlocke?
You don't need that though, because you can play a Nuzlocke. You don't need it to be
matter. It doesn't matter.
It's the fact that
It
they
doesn't
don't
matter
like.
whether or not you need it.
Honestly, I
It
don't
would still be
understand.
cool.
Well, it's like I'll like it like
Make
play
it
this Jake.
challenging.
You can do a Smash Bros
Yeah, but you
tournament
can
if
do
you
that.
want, but it sure would be nice if Nintendo would actually support it.
Yeah,
But it doesn't
Right.
need
Shutting
to.
it down
It's
all the
way that you
time.
play the game.
yeah.
No, you
I'm
don't.
just saying
But-
Pokemon is inherently at this point. I mean, until you get to like towards the end of the game, I mean, Pokemon is like almost inherently a little too easy. I mean,
Well, yeah,
people
so you
started
can just
doing the
play
Nuzlocke
Nuzlocke.
to make it more challenging. And
Yeah,
I'm
you
just
can still do
saying,
that.
like, I think they need to get
Well,
over
here's-
this
here's-
whole.
Sabrina, here's
I
the
hate
biggest
that
reason
our
why
players
I-
came up
I-
with a
I
better way
kinda
to
hate
play the
that.
game.
Well, no. Here's why I hate that. It's because Pokemon has enough things they need to fix and take care of. You can play a Nuzlocke on any official Pokemon game right now. And like, if you're telling me that like when one of your Pokemon faints, instead of you putting it in the PC or releasing it, that you want the game to automatically do that, like
Yeah.
it doesn't really. Yeah, but it doesn't really
I'm
make
sorry.
a difference. I'd rather them work on other stuff with the
I'm
Pokemon.
sorry.
rid
I
of the
gotta
temptation.
push back on you just a little bit, Jake. I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
so
yeah.
much rather.
Hot fire, go.
I would
Let's
so
go.
much rather. Yes. I would so much rather have
We're gonna put you guys
a
next to each
harder.
other.
I
Heated
would so much
battle.
rather have a harder difficulty setting to be able to click a button and say, yes, I want to play this way to make this game more challenging than I would making a freaking shitty sandwich. Okay. I don't give a shit about sandwiches. All right. I'm tired of it. I hate them so much. And if they would take all of the energy that went into making rice for a sandwich and put it into, I don't know, just coding in a couple of little things to make it possible for you to play with Nuzlocke rules, I feel like you would be making a shit ton of people happy. The Pokemon Company would be making a whole lot of new friends. And I feel like it would give other players the opportunity to try something new and enjoy the Pokemon games in a more challenging way. And I think that Nintendo, not Nintendo necessarily, but either the Pokemon Company or Game Freak, whoever's doing it, has been slowly but surely making these Pokemon games easier and easier and easier. Now,
for sure.
that being said, I do think that they increased the difficulty a little bit with Scarlet and Violet. The terrestrialization definitely threw in an additional challenge, but
especially
ever
in the DLC
since,
too.
yeah, especially in the
was
DLC.
very,
Uh-huh.
very difficult.
Yeah, it was good and challenging. That's what I'm looking for. But X and Y, a little too easy. Auras had absolutely no business being as easy as it was when we had Emerald, who set the stage for being a challenging Pokemon game. Sun and Moon, it did get a little bit better with Sun and Moon. It was slightly more challenging with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Sun and Moon itself, maybe not so much. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, we did get a little slightly more challenging. And then we backtracked all the way back with Let's Go. And I understand why they did it. I understand why. That's fine. But at the same time, then we went into Sword and Shield, and Sword and Shield was freaking easy. I mean, Gigantamax.
You're talking about something different now. Like, I agree.
No,
like,
no, I'm talking about by making these games.
Let me just say this, Sabrina. Let me just say this real quick.
I'm sorry.
I think
I'll back it up.
They should make the games harder for sure. But every single game that you just listed, you can sit down and play it and Nuzlocke it. There's nothing stopping you from doing that with any of those games.
There's nothing stopping the freaking Pokemon Company from doing it either. Like, I'm just saying, like, or Game Freak. There's nothing stopping Game Freak. Other than them just being like, hey, you found.
Can't do. So that I agree with, but that's a different thing.
Well, see, I think the point is, Jake, that the Nuzlocke is a self-imposed restriction that it's easily tempting to cheat on versus a mode that will not let you do that, period. You won't be able to cheat on yourself.
From somebody
with a forced mode.
From somebody who, as somebody who has played a lot of Nuzlockes and has only finished two, all right, it is difficult for me to, just two. I've only finished two. I've played a lot of them. I've done a lot of Nuzlockes, but I've only finished two. And it would have been a hell of a lot easier for me to sit down and play it all the way through if it were actually a mode that you could actually play. Why is it that freaking Fire Emblem Engage has like a normal version, a hard version, and then a freaking madness version or whatever it's called? Is it called madness or maddening? Something like that? Like, why is it?
And in Fire Emblem, you can literally choose whether you want your characters to die or not. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Why is it that so many games give you a difficulty setting and let you pick how easy or how hard you want the game to be, and Pokemon doesn't do it? Even if they didn't implement the Nuzlocke rules, I still think that you should be able to choose how difficult you want your game to be.
Well,
I'm just saying that like Nuzlocking is hyper popular. It is a super popular way to play these games, and the fact that the Pokemon Company or Game Freak, whoever is the one who implements it, I would assume that would be Game Freak, but I think the Pokemon Company is the executive decision maker on that. I would assume that the reason that they don't want to do it is simply because they don't want more money. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people would be down for a freaking Nuzlocke version of a game.
I'll give you this, okay? I think that with the newer games they've been making, like especially like Arceus and stuff like that, and even like Scarlet and Violet, those are a little weird for Nuzlocking, and it might be actually a little harder to implement that in the code. However,
I get that.
They brought, and this, remember I said I wouldn't be excited for like if they brought the Pokemon games like from GBA and DS. If they brought those to NSO, but for those older ones, like the 2D sprites, added a Nuzlocke option, that would be freaking awesome.
That would be awesome.
I'll give you, that would be so cool. That would make me excited to have those on NSO.
Yeah, and on top of that, I don't even think that they should make a Nuzlocke Pokemon game. I don't think that they should ever do that. I just think that they should give people the option.
That, yeah.
No. I'm just thinking, like, I hope that nobody is vying for that, because that's not what I'm going for. I just want to.
Oh no, I didn't want
the option. Yeah.
Right.
It'll be a good DLC add-on, like how they do with from Breath of the Wild. They add like that master mode setting to it to make it more difficult, and
Yeah.
like on the side, it'll be awesome. Like for example, they released the base game of Pokemon, right? However they want, as plain as vanilla as they want, right? Make it as simple. But then for a DLC, add those difficulties, add a Nuzlocke to it, so people can kind of, I'm waiting for that DLC because I can't wait to play that feature.
Doesn't Nuzlocke
Let
just
me-
exist just because the game's
Wait. I
easy?
want to make one
It's
more
Let me-
clarification to what I was saying, and, then I'll shut up. It's the
And then
last
I'll
thing I wanna
add one more thing after you, Jake.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can finish it out.
Just keep
All I want to
building that
say is
sandwich.
that, like, to me, like, I don't think, like, anytime you can add an extra option to a game, even if it's not an option you're interested in, it's a good thing. To me, what I was confused about and why I was like, I don't think it's a big deal. Like, it wouldn't, if they did it, I wouldn't be upset. Like, the reason I'm not like, I don't really care if they do, is because it's like, it's something that's so easily done already. And I get your argument that it helps to have the restrictions hard, like, into the game. But for me, it's like, all right, if you're playing like some other game and there's a weapon that you don't like to use, you just don't use that weapon. It's not like you're like, oh no, like I have to drop the weapon I have and use this. Like, gotta do it. It's there. Like,
Right.
that's what it's like to me. It's like,
And
so that's
so
why
in
I'm saying
Fire
it's not a big
Emblem,
deal.
and in Fire Emblem, if they just didn't give you the option to make it to where if one of your character dies, then they're gone forever. Like if they didn't give you the option, if they just kept the character playable for the entire game, wouldn't you prefer
So,
that they at
no,
least give you
I'd
the
argue,
option to make that a
but if
thing?
they gave, but Pokemon does give you the option because you can release Pokemon. So if Fire Emblem made it so they didn't die, but you could, if you wanted to just kill them, like by releasing them, it would be the same thing, and that's kind of what it is.
I just like the idea of having hard
I
restrictions
get it.
in place
I'll let
as
you
a
say the last
game
thing, too.
mode. But
Yeah.
thank you.
As an epic gamer that Sabrina is, she needs those hardcore gamer restrictions.
I do, because I'm a
Just
little
being a
bitch.
Some of us
I
have
will not that
self-discipline.
I will cheat, but I'll get frustrated and I'll just be like,
Sabrina,
I don't have
Sabrina,
time to finish this game.
Wait, what was
But
the last thing you wanted to say though, Sabrina?
so one of the things that really upsets me, one of the things that really upsets me about the Pokemon Company and Game Freak on this front is that why is it that with Smash, when people played Melee, we found all of the exploits, right? Like freaking wave dashing, all of that stuff. We found all of these cool exploits. And then Brawl came out, all of the exploits were gone. And then Ultimate came out. And I think that there was one for the Wii U,
You mean Smash
right?
4?
Yeah.
You mean
Smash 4. I didn't play
Yeah.
Smash 4, so I can't speak to that. But I know that in Smash Ultimate, a lot of the exploits that were in Melee came back. Now, not all of them, but a lot of them did. Why? Because the developers recognize that the people who are playing the game have decided that they have found a better way to play or a way that they prefer to play. And they're not forcing anybody to use those methods of playing the game. They just made it an option for players again. And I think that takes a lot of, I guess it just takes a lot of balls for a game developer to look at the player base and say, well, we didn't intend for this to happen, but they're really enjoying this thing that we didn't intend. How about we just make it an option for them? You
There's a
know,
lot
I
of
know,
awareness.
right?
humility.
Exactly.
Nuzlocke was
player
always
based
an option,
awareness.
and they didn't never taken that away.
Do what?
Nuzlocke is always an option. They've never taken that away.
You know, they've
I'm
only
just-
copyrighted streams and videos of people doing it because they don't like it.
It doesn't change how you play
Yeah.
it.
I know,
So,
but they're very against it. Like they actively don't
Yeah.
like it.
But they
What
don't,
I'm saying
well,
Well,
is
because for
that
them to get rid of it, they have to get rid of a core mechanic that's part of other parts of the game.
yeah, so they let it be there, and you have the option. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm
I
just-
guess we're kind of going in circles, Sabrina, because
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying too. But like to me, it's just like if they added like an actual toggle on the menu, like I would be fine with that. Like it's not a bad thing to add an option, but to me, I just don't.
I'm so
see
glad that Jake
why,
is
like, it
having this with
matters
someone
when
else
you
and not
can
me.
do it still. It's not like there's no way to do it right now. But like I don't know. I guess it'll just make it a little easier.
I feel like if they did, a lot of people who play Pokemon, especially the adults, would absolutely love it and might
Mm.
go out and buy the new Pokemon game that's coming out next instead of
I'm gonna
being
have to
like,
split
they
you
might
up
be
now.
like,
This is getting too much. Too much.
they might be like, this is an incentive to buy the new Pokemon game that's coming out, you know? Like, all I'm
Yeah.
saying is that by not doing it, Nintendo is missing out on an opportunity. Or sorry, the Pokemon Company and Game Freak are missing out on an opportunity.
There's a lot of things they don't do that they're missing out on.
Yeah.
But I guess that would be
I
easy.
can, you know what? I can definitely agree with you there, Jake.
Okay.
I
All
can
right.
agree
Like
with
the
you.
2-inch destroyer.
What's that?
They
I
don't
heard my name
destroy
right.
2 inches enough. That's
Yeah.
a
You said
big
there's a lot of
difference.
things they're missing out on, and then you smiled, so I assumed you were talking about the 2-inch destroyer. that
Oh,
Nintendo's
no, but
missing
thank you
out,
for
or
assuming
Game
that.
Freak.
That's really
Yeah.
nice of you.
Yeah.
That's really nice. All right. Let's get to this
Speaking
other topic
truths.
we had here, which is quite interesting because we actually had emulation come up quite a bit without even talking about this. And that is because Nintendo is literally filed an actual lawsuit, not just a cease and desist, against the makers of the Yuzu emulator. Which, for those who don't know who that is, it's Tropic Haze LLC. They're the people who made it. They make a lot of claims. I'm just going to kind of go through some of the stuff. I read all the legal documents. For people who do not think that Nintendo is actually going after emulation, you did not read the legal document because they very clearly are going after emulation. They are trying to get emulation labeled as illegal. So there's other things they're trying to do too, get the emulator shut down and all this stuff, but they're very clearly trying to make an argument to the courts that it's illegal. So let's go through some of this stuff. It says that Yuzu allows games to be played illegally on unauthorized hardware. This says their website does include direct links to key decryption sources, something that is known to technically be illegal. That's actually something that's already been decided by courts that you can't show people and you can't link to people doing it, but their website does. So this is kind of one of those things where, like, you're not supposed to download ROMs. People download ROMs. If you're a business like me, you can't provide links for people to download ROMs. But if I did, I could get in legal trouble for that.
Yes.
So they're providing links towards things that are technically against the law. So that is one aspect Nintendo might have in this case. Moving on, they said this isn't actually like they're not going after them because of this, or they're just noting that one major game that they felt impacted by was Tears of the Kingdom last year, where over 1 million people were playing it before it came out due to it leaking and through emulators. They claim that the pirate websites themselves were actually advertising when people downloaded the Tears of the Kingdom ROM to use the Yuzu emulator. I don't know anything about that because I didn't download the ROM, so I have no idea. They note that Yuzu's Patreon support actually doubled during the Tears of the Kingdom file leak, which is them sort of hinting that they were profiting off of Nintendo's game by making it more playable on their emulator. Nintendo claims in some instances Yuzu allows for playing of actual encrypted files, which shouldn't actually be legally possible, not just decrypted. But then they really fumbled the wording there. I don't think they realized or understood what they were talking about, because then they came back and said, actually, the claim is because Yuzu runs prod keys, which are illegal, to make the files work. And so they say the only way Yuzu can actually function is to use something that's illegal. That is actually maybe a key thing that might work in Nintendo's favor, is that this thing isn't actually usable without something that's illegal. So how can this thing be legal? So we'll get to the discussion on this. And this is where Nintendo is literally like they think they have a case to make emulators illegal if they require using illegal things. Anyways, this claim is because okay, wait, I already did the one. Then they claim the Yuzu founder put on the website instructions, and this is the weird one, because hacking's always been legal. You've always been able to, a device you buy, you've always been able to modify it, right? That's never actually in the United States, anyways. I don't know about other countries, but now they're kind of throwing this in there too, that maybe they're trying to argue it's not legal. They claim the Yuzu founder put on their website instructions for how to hack your Switch and dump game files. Now, obtaining the keys, apparently he might have put instructions to obtain the keys, which yes, that absolutely would be an illegal thing. But instructions on how to hack your Switch and dump game files shouldn't actually be illegal. At least it's not in the United States, but maybe Nintendo's trying to get that reversed and get a new ruling on it that might make it illegal. And that's a really big one. Like, that's just straight up, you can't hack your systems.
Yeah.
Which that even falls under like
There's a lot of laws around that, so it's like, man,
yeah. What's the recent thing of like right to repair? That's it. That falls under right to repair kind of stuff. Like,
but I think it's the whole hacking the system for the purpose of dumping games. I guess they're trying to argue that people aren't dumping games for backups. I think they're trying to argue people aren't dumping it to back their files up. They're dumping it to actually play them on an emulator, which they're trying to determine that emulators themselves shouldn't be legal if they require using an illegal key to access the game.
But if you're just dumping it from your own cartridge.
Yeah, but you still can't. If you dump it from your own cartridge, it's encrypted. You won't be able to use it on an emulator. You have to decrypt it. Decrypting is actually illegal. And that's the problem, is they have to decrypt it to run it on the emulator.
And that hasn't been a thing before until like
because the encryption is a protection service of copyright. You are infringing on copyright by decrypting it because now you are claiming ownership of the files. I know it's dumb, it's stupid, but
no, it's okay. I just had a couple more questions because like you're helping me understand it. Like, and I just so
it's a security measure.
Here's the thing, though. You own that cartridge. You're not claiming ownership of the files if you're not distributing it in the United States, right?
Let
me just say my question.
Okay, get your question out. Yes.
All right. So if you if you get the files off of it and it decrypts or whatever, and you're saying that you're claiming ownership of it, but you can do that with your own stuff. And
you don't actually own the game.
Distributing it in the United States.
It doesn't matter. You don't own the files. You don't actually own the files.
And you're not as long as you're not giving them to anyone else, you're not selling them, you can still do that.
Yeah, but okay. So their claim, and this is something that this is why decrypting was considered illegal back in the day. Again, the problem is a lot of this stuff was determined in the 90s and hasn't been updated since. So there's a lot of things that come out of this court case, both positive or negative, depending on what side of the fence you're on. But the biggest thing is basically that you only own a right for a software. It doesn't matter if you buy physical or digital. You only own a license key. That is it.
No, I know.
Okay, and everyone knows that. That's been determined for a long time, and I don't think that law is going to change. You only because you can't actually own the characters and the code. No, like obviously, you can only own a license to use a piece of software. Games are a piece of software, whether you guys like it or not. Video games are technically a piece of software. You can't own that software unless you're the one who made it, unless you sold the rights to somebody else. So buying a game, by the way, is not buying the rights to own someone else's creations. So the interesting part in that is they made it so you're allowed to put security measures in place to protect your code base from being accessed by things that it was never built for. And the problem with key decryption is it allows it to be accessed by things it was never built for. And they never gave explicit instructions that their software could be ran on those things. And it's kind of like if you're running Adobe Photoshop on a device it was not intended to run on or ever developed for, and you hack the shit out of it to make it work. You're actually breaking the license agreement to do that, and thus you've essentially forfeited your licensing rights when you
Adobe Photoshop for the Switch.
The problem is it can't be enforced. The problem is it can't be enforced in a lot of ways because they're not going to run around to your house and see what devices you have shit on and don't have shit on. But technically, what Nintendo's trying to do is say, well, fine, we can't go after the individual users. There's too many. It's too hard. We're not going to go to people's houses and see what the fuck they're doing. But what we can do is go after the software that's enabling them to do that in the first place. That's what they're trying to make an argument for in court, is that if we get rid of the software that enables this, then we have no problem. Which you're never going to get rid of the software. It's always going to exist in dark corners of the internet anyways. But they're trying to make it so it's not so easily gettable. Like just a public website that everyone can go to freely, easily, no worry about viruses. It's just right there on GitHub. They're trying to make it so like it's a lot harder to get.
I don't think the laws have changed in a long time.
They haven't.
So, and I
this
know
hasn't also gone to court.
You're allowed to burn CDs. Like you're allowed to make you know what I mean? And I think it's the same laws still, just because they are dated. But I think it's like
they're very dated. Yeah.
They literally they made devices that like were intended for you to do that. And if you sold those burnt CDs, that's all a lie. But anything you're doing with your own thing, and obviously Nintendo doesn't want people are obviously, you know, downloading the files, whatever. But
piracy is clearly happening
on the emulator.
Well, what they're saying, their claim is that the emulator cannot function without breaking the law, because it requires something that breaks the law.
And again, I'm first of all, I'm dumb. Second of all, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah. None of us are lawyers.
But in my opinion,
I actually want to see some of those lawyer YouTubers look at this and see.
I don't
if they
think Nintendo has the right.
Yeah,
to
like
say
Legal
that you
Eagle.
can't
That'd be
do
pretty
that
cool.
as long as you're not
Or
distributing.
Emily
it,
D.
that's legal
Baker.
here.
Yeah,
So,
I want to see some of these lawyer. I bet you it will. I bet you one of these lawyer channels will pick it up and be like, "Let's actually look at this." Because one thing I like about the lawyer YouTube channels,
Or Legal Bites. I bet Legal Bites would cover it.
yeah, there's because they're going to cover it because the big thing about this case, whether you guys think Nintendo has a shot at it or anything or not, is that this actually hasn't been legally challenged in like 20 plus years. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
So like,
So I think it's going to
and there
depend on the
hasn't been
evidence that they
updated
have.
with. Yeah, like
I
none
was
of
just
this
gonna
stuff
say-
has been. None of this stuff has been decided in the annals of after the internet blew up. All the laws around this predate the internet being this really big thing everyone's using. So I think what Nintendo is basically saying is we think we have built a case that will go to court, not get dismissed, because we have direct evidence of things we already know based on old laws that are illegal, such as the links on the website and stuff like that. They shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have been doing that. They shot themselves in the foot with that. That is something. There's a couple smoking guns Nintendo has to at least get this to a court. And then I think their idea is, hey, it's time to update these laws because this is what's happening to us. And this, we're not, they're not saying, they're not even being like, oh, we're going after people, they're talking about NES. No, we're going after, this is our current platform, our most recent big hit, millions of people playing it before it came out, spoiling the game for actual consumers, yada, yada. They're trying to make this argument how it's anti-consumer and also anti-business and everyone's hurt by these emulators. It's going to be a very hard legal battle. I don't know if it's something they could win, but also the thing is they're going after, this company who isn't exactly the richest and probably can't afford to really fight it that much. Maybe the community rises up and throws them a bunch of money to hire really good lawyers, which could happen. But I find this to be fascinating because if this does go to trial and is not dismissed, this could shape the future landscape of emulation and really just laws around ownership and everything else.
I'm pretty sure they can get a competent legal team that just want it for the press to try to say they beat Nintendo.
So listen,
I'm sure they can put up a decent fight.
There's two things I'm looking for. There's two things they're looking for here. They're not really looking for money. They're looking to set precedent, okay? Because like Nate said,
of course.
They're looking to win and to set the standard for and they're using, which is genius, the key, which is something that is legally owned by Nintendo. That's a smoking gun.
That's based on old laws. It is something that it's a security protection they have the right to, that you are not allowed to decrypt. You are not allowed to hack that key.
Yeah, and within the terms of service in every
game, you can't emulate without doing it. That's the problem. So even though the emulator isn't doing it, the emulator is promoting that you go get these things to make their emulator work. Which
I don't know. I'll be completely and totally honest.
This is why they haven't gone after Ryujinx. I want to note, though, some people said, well, then why aren't they going after Ryujinx? Ryujinx has not promoted where to get the keys. They have not linked to where to get the keys, and they have not put out there in any form that you should go get these keys. You just know if you download Ryujinx, you need to go get the keys. You just know because you're in the emulation community. But Ryujinx never says it. Yuzu publicly has been promoting that you need to get these things that Nintendo actually owns, that you're not. I'm not saying they should, and if Nintendo loses, maybe they no longer do. That's the thing. It could go the opposite direction. Like if Nintendo just gets destroyed, well then, look, it's just going to get more rampant. Piracy and everything else is just going to get even worse because now people will be like, oh, it's legal. Now I don't even need to worry about it. It's all legal. Because there are some people that do stay away from it, worrying, I don't know if I'm really comfortable morally with this thing that is technically illegal. But then if all of a sudden it's fully legal, it's like, oh, well then.
Wait,
piracy for all.
Sorry, Sabrina, what are you saying?
So
you're about to talk, and I interrupted you.
No, you're okay. I'll be completely honest. The justice system is a little bit confusing to me. So I'm going to just throw that out there before I say anything. But I'm afraid that the outcome of this case could become case law. So, anytime a similar
that's why Nintendo's doing it.
Right.
Nintendo's doing it because they want this to become case law
for like 30 years.
So like you said, so that this sets the precedent because it's right now it's Yuzu, but how many of the other emulators are going to stay up after this?
Yeah,
you know, the case
exactly
law
like
is just
Dolphin
literally
and-
going
You
to be
gotta remember,
all of them
Nintendo's been wanting to do
down.
this entire time, right, guys? Ever since emulators became a thing in the 90s, they've been really wanting to do this, but they didn't because they wanted to wait until they had enough smoking guns and enough time away from the old laws where they're gonna be like, okay, there might be
Oh,
a judge
well,
willing to see this.
if
We do have certain things.
they're looking for smoking guns, then YouTube is looking a lot like Texas right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of it all over YouTube, and that might have been even how they
So-
started discovering this stuff. It's very public all over YouTube.
Yeah,
Like-
if Nintendo waited
Yeah.
this long up into the emulation world and make this case, Nintendo has a case, and I see Nintendo winning big time on this case just because you cannot use an emulator without actually violating Nintendo's property.
Well,
and
to be clear, you can't use a Switch emulator.
exactly,
Some
Yeah,
of
the
the older
older
games
emulators.
don't have encryption keys. So
and to bring the Tears of the Kingdom, that's what was it? 1 million copies? 1 million copies
yeah,
downloaded.
they're claiming
saying 2
that what
million.
I was. Yeah, see that this is their claim. Obviously the burden of them proving that so many people did it's on them. But
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I
They're
understand where they're coming from, at least in terms of like current gen hardware being emulated, because that borders, if not crosses the line of piracy. When it comes to
Mhm.
older games and older properties, then I'm a bit more like, okay, no, I'm on the side of emulation. But like, I mean, like when Tears of the Kingdom came out, I mean, you did have to like avoid Twitter, you had to avoid everything to not get spoiled and everything else.
Absolutely.
yeah,
But-
and one of their arguments was that in their licensing agreement, because again, you are only buying a license in the agreement, it states that you cannot play this on any non-Nintendo authorized hardware, which that's exactly what emulators are. They're enabling you to play it on non-Nintendo authorized hardware, which is a DMCA situation. And they brought that up themselves. And that could be another thing that it's interesting because it's like, how far do licensing rights go? And that's
This,
You know,
I
how
mean,
do they
unless
everything else.
very sticky.
unless
Because then it's
unless
like,
the
oh, you can make
suit-
backups, sure, but you can't use the backup on anything but a Switch.
I'll be
I-
And that's
honest,
not what they're going after.
unless
I feel
this suit gets dropped or unless
And
it
I can't
turns
see it
out to
getting
be some
settled.
kind of like a mistrial or something, I'm just saying Nintendo is going to drag Yuzu through the fucking mud. Like,
I just imagine all those law movies and shows I watch. Here's how it gets dismissed. The guy knows that, I'm fucked. I'm not going to win. So he just comes in and starts cussing out and swearing at the judge and just like everything. And then he gets detained. And like, well, we're just going to toss this out. This is becoming too wild right now. We got She-Hulk walking through the door.
See, I disagree. I think they're gonna have. I think they're gonna have completely free representation. Some lawyer is gonna want to make his career off.
It'll only
how
be
do you?
free-
Okay, but
it'll
what
only be
lawyer
free if the
can
lawyer
defend?
thinks they can win. Yeah, they gotta
Okay,
think they
yeah,
can
and
win.
that's the thing. I mean, it seems like the law is stacked against Yuzu hard right now, and Nintendo is going to pound on the law because I mean, I don't know, even if you have the best, defense lawyers that the country can buy, I don't see the current laws right now. I just don't see them favoring Yuzu.
Well, the current laws do favor Yuzu. That's the thing.
Well, not in this case.
Not
Nintendo's
based
only
on the
phone.
encryption.
Yeah,
Not based on
the
I
encryption stuff is 100% illegal, and they're promoting that. So here's the thing: the best outcome for people who love emulation would be that all Nintendo they win, but it's like a small win. They get Yuzu itself shut down.
Yeah,
because that looks like with them promoting the
big
keys
win.
and linking to the
Yeah,
keys.
people.
But that's the thing. If it's only really because they promoted and linked to the keys, which is illegal, okay, fine. They get Yuzu shut down. Or because Yuzu has a Patreon, right? So it's making money off of this stuff. Okay, fine. They get that shut down. That doesn't stop future emulation. That just means, okay, don't be raising money to make your emulators. Don't be linking to where to get keys or promoting it. Just have it be that, like Raiju Nix, this unsaid thing that everyone knows you need, but we're just not going to talk about.
You think YouTube or not YouTube?
That's
you
why
think
that
Nintendo is
would
going to
also
go
be a
that
win
route
for
though?
emulation, but
Yeah.
I mean,
no,
but do
Nintendo's
you
trying to
think
go beyond
Nintendo,
that.
that's what
that
I'm
would
saying.
that would be where Nintendo wins, but it's kind of a hollow victory.
Listen, I
Because
think
they're trying to
Nintendo-
create case law. They're trying to say no, emulators just shouldn't exist because the licensing keys say you can't play our shit anywhere else. So why do you
Right.
even need these things?
yes.
So
That's what they're trying to argue.
So there is no such thing as a small win for Nintendo. If Nintendo brings this,
Yeah, that would be
if
a
this,
loss. Nintendo would
yeah,
consider that an L if they just got the emulator taken
and
down, and that was all it
and
was.
it would be a total loss for everybody who uses emulators. But at the same time, hopefully, the process for shutting down Yuzu. I mean, we know that this lawsuit ain't going to court anytime soon, so it's going to be
Yeah.
a little while, and it'll probably be a little while before other emulators go down after that if Nintendo decides that they want to just do a total takedown.
Yeah.
And
This
that being
is going to be a
said,
case law case. This is
Yeah.
going to
yeah,
be the
it's
case to
gonna
get
turn into
everything shut
case
down.
law.
It's gonna turn into movie.
Either way, but either way, even if that is the case, it is good. All of these things take a lot of time,
Yeah.
so none of
This could
this
be
is going to
years.
happen overnight. And
Yeah.
so, hopefully, in the meantime, in the event that Nintendo does decide to do that, I only hope that they do start updating the NSO or giving us some of their older games to play. Because I mean, or
Yeah.
even if they just put like a Mario All-Stars type of thing for a bunch of these different franchises onto a single cartridge and just give us
Yeah.
the ability to play these older games in the meantime so that they still win. Like they still make money. And
I mean,
also it might be nice to give us like a speed up function.
Can I
and-
add something?
and-
Can I add something to that question?
Yeah.
I think Nintendo needs to win this, and to set the precedent. And I'm saying because of a comment that I read that
Well-
actually makes a lot of sense, and it's because, yeah, I remember Nintendo can do whatever they want with their software, right? Right now we're in an age where we're kind of leaning toward more the digital age than the physical. Physical is kind of sadly going away, and so a loss for Nintendo would mean no more physical copies on allowed on Nintendo Switch, only digital, and even
It's going to happen one day, anyways.
they'll make it.
Yeah, that's coming someday.
They'll make
obviously.
it so hard for a game to be downloaded and emulated. They can go cloud. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm just
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. That would
Yeah,
be awful.
I
That would be
don't even think
horrible.
there's cloud. I think what they'll do, and we're already seeing this with some companies, is instead of doing all these court cases, companies are just making their games require online. And then the only way you can play it is to hack the game and get it out, and hacking the game to get it out is technically illegal. So if they want to come after you, they could, but they just haven't. This is like the first major case. And to be fair, people might wonder, well, why is it Nintendo? Well, look at the rest of the industry. They're busy laying a bunch of people off. I don't know that all these companies are actually doing too well. Nintendo, meanwhile, is the richest company in Japan and doing pretty good. So if any company is going to do it, it's going to be them.
Well, and I'll say this, I'm a little conflicted on this because
It's very conflicted.
like I said, I have to use emulators. Like I have to in order to get footage. Like I have to do it. And so I'm really relying
Or
on
be
the
rich.
ability to use. Do what?
Or just be really rich and just
buy
buy all the
hardware,
modded systems
Yeah.
with the video out. That's like I had a modded 3DS at one point. It cost me like $700. That was
And
back
so like
then.
I
Today it's probably
legit
more expensive.
do, as somebody who relies heavily on emulators, it kind of hurts a little bit to know that this is happening. But on the other end, like I hate saying it, but like I understand where Nintendo is coming from. Like I can't not side with Nintendo. It is their fucking property and they can do what they want with it. Like I can't be mad at Nintendo for making this decision to do this lawsuit because they're well within their right to.
And it shouldn't affect old emulators at this point. They're
I hope
like the
it
really
shouldn't,
old
but it
school
could.
ones. It could, but like they're so these emulators have been on for like 25 years. Some of these emulators,
Well,
like
and
you're not
and
gonna have a hard
here's
time getting them.
and here's to hoping Nintendo says I can, but I won't. Like hopefully that's the way that it
I think a
goes.
lot. I'm hoping. Well, that that can, but
With
won't with
older
Nintendo.
ones.
I don't know about that. I will say that I think maybe this is happening now because they want to have the new precedent set for Switch 2 for when that's eventually hacked. They won't. They're not worried about now. They're worried about like, all right, Switch 2. Look, here's like, and this is going to probably come up in the court case if it goes to court. Is that Nintendo can point out how every single one of their releases from 2017 onward was spoiled because of emulation, because the games were available early online, which is they're going to be their argument against hacking systems and dumping game files, and is going to also be their argument for the emulators in addition to them needing illegal files to function.
And it's a damn good argument, and they're well within their right to put it out there. They're
But
well within their right to argue.
I'll throw it out there. Nintendo could lose. Like this is the
They
thing.
could.
They definitely could lose. I obviously
I don't think so.
none of us are lawyers. All we can do is look at the surface and know, well, we know this is illegal. We know this is illegal, and this is what Nintendo's basing it on. But the laws can change, and it might change against Nintendo in this case, depending on what case is made in the opposite direction. One of the cases that is very interesting, because Nintendo mentions like they want damages. Then the one burden that this has been the biggest bugaboo, and if you hear anyone debate about piracy and stuff, is how much does it really hurt the companies? Oh, there was 1 million, but it sold 20. So how much did it really hurt you?
Yeah, what percentage of that was
You're
it?
the richest company in Japan. How much has piracy even hurt you this entire generation? Your stock values are bigger than ever. So like
damages
that's
are damages though.
Yeah, I know, and that's that's one of the things that it's going to be like, did it actually hurt your company? How do you prove this? Yada yada. I mean, you could prove that spoilers got out there, and that could have hurt fans' experiences. And they're even putting tweets in there about people being spoiled and being upset about it.
I actually think that.
But
I actually think that damages is one of their stronger arguments in regards to Tears of the Kingdom. To be honest with you,
yeah,
especially it's very story heavy game too.
Yeah, exactly. And you know,
for Nintendo, I realize if you play Sony games, it's like a little peon in comparison.
Right. Just the fact that it was streaming before release and stuff, and spoilers everywhere.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's people who may have been like, I already checked it out, or I was already able to download it. Like even if they quit with the emulated version, they may not have just ended up picking it up. I feel like Nintendo's been very quiet. They've been waiting, collecting, you know, whatever evidence they can. It's scary. Like I agree.
I think they waited for one emulator to fuck up and start linking. The linking and promoting illegal things. That part is like, oh man, you can't argue you didn't do it.
They made
everyone knows you did it. It's right on your website. Everyone knows. So
they made some very interesting allegations in this case,
and that's on the Yuzu developers just being dumbasses to hand them that easy weapon.
Yeah.
Now I think I think that it is highly unlikely that Yuzu will win this suit. I think Nintendo is going to mop the floor with them, and I think we'll be lucky. We will be lucky if Nintendo So like if the ruling turns out that like the only thing that they're at fault for is the promoting of it. Like you were saying, Nate, like the illegal, like if we'll get out lucky if that's the only thing that comes of it. But I think it'll be a miracle that Yuzu wins this suit. The law is like 100. The law is 100% on YouTube side. It's just that the people are on Yuzu side.
Here's what happens. Here's what happens. If Nintendo wins the part that talks about the licensing agreement and that you only buy the license, or you own a license that can be revoked at any point, and in that licensing agreement, it does say you cannot play games anywhere else but on the hardware the game was made for. The thing is, if the judge sides with that and sets that precedent, that just straight up makes emulators illegal.
Yeah, that's
just straight up. It's done. Like just legal wise. It just makes them completely illegal because it means what are emulators' purpose? To play them on hardware that wasn't intended for. Now, this doesn't mean that like Nintendo won't use emulation for NSO. They can because it's their properties. So that's not an argument. But it's talking about, when you see people playing on Android and PC and Steam Deck. Heck, Steam Deck wanted nothing to do with it. When Yuzu was going to end up being available on Steam Deck, Nintendo made one phone call and Yuzu vanished.
Yep.
Because they did not want to be caught in the middle of any sort of legal debate over whether or not you can actually emulate Nintendo games. And maybe they knew this lawsuit was coming too. It's entirely possible. People talk. So maybe they knew Nintendo's been building this case too. So
that was from the Steam commercial, right? That Steam commercial. It was in an official Steam commercial, and all of a sudden, Yuzu is no longer coming to Steam.
Yeah, I think
that's just because Steam doesn't want beef with Nintendo.
Well, yeah, Nintendo obviously they're companies that work together sometimes. Some of the games come to Switch and other, so there's that, but also it is a legal thing, and you're promoting something that questionable, does allow piracy. You know, a lot of people that use emulators for piracy, but you know, Nintendo and I don't know. It could again, people talk. It wouldn't be surprising if behind the scenes, like Valve's legal department had heard from a friend who's friends with Nintendo's lawyers. Oh, they're building this case. We really don't want to get sucked into and be part of this. We don't want any. We want this to be between them and them. And we're
but not because they know it's illegal, but just because they know that there's going to be a lawsuit. They
Yeah. They don't want to be. They don't want to be a part of it because if they're actively continuing to promote something that's found to be illegal, then that could bring them into like, hey, why are you doing this? What else are you promoting? Blah blah blah. So Valve just wants to stay away from it, basically.
Right.
It's probably the smartest decision that any company can make. Is hey, let's just not get involved and we'll just remove the emulator. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I just think that if they're gonna take emulation away, they need to have a plan to, if they're gonna bring down the hammer, they need to give us a Band-Aid after that.
Yeah.
Like, please just let us play your older games on a newer console.
There's no Band-Aid.
Yeah.
You know what it is? Here's your Band-Aid. Everything becomes public domain after so long. We'll just all be dead.
Yeah.
That's your Band-Aid.
That is a fair point.
Public domain.
I am scared.
They won't have any ownership or rights to it anymore.
I am scared and I need a hug.
It's scary. I mean, we were just talking about NSO earlier in the cast and how like not getting DS and 3DS means that those games are lost to those platforms. And you know, just thinking of all the games that aren't the big, you know, Link to the Past, Super Mario World, that like you mentioned, Nate, a lot of those games are super expensive. If you want to collect retro games, not only do you have to hunt for working copies, but you're gonna pay an arm and a leg. It's unaffordable. It's really sad. It's really sad that there's not a way not that there's not a way that Nintendo hasn't really opened up. Here is, I mean, they have the most robust and best gaming catalog out of any company, decades of fantastic games, and so many of them will never see the light of day, which is really sad. Emulation keeps that alive, and it's especially so for retro games. And I totally, Sabrina, like you mentioned earlier, and I think Vlam as well, like, you know, emulating and pirating new games like Tears of the Kingdom, it's like shame on you. Like, you know, that's stealing. But when it comes to like stuff that's a couple gens back and going into those retro classics, like we need a way to play them. Those should not be lost to time. Our kids and their kids should be able to experience that.
I agree, Game Bird. I agree, but it's also from Nintendo's vantage point, it is still stealing.
It's all software.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Sam West in the chat. Correction, it was the Dolphin emulator that got taken down.
Oh, that's right.
Not Yuzu. So.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Even
the Steam OS did put some things in at one point to make it more difficult to run the Yuzu emulator, but it was never actually going to officially release on Steam. So
even retro games are published on Nintendo by third-party companies. So I'm guessing it's up to the third-party companies who own them.
Well, yeah, a lot of those aren't up to Nintendo about bringing it back. But then the third-party companies don't always. I've never been against emulation of old systems. Never been a problem to me. They're not selling the games anymore. Who cares? Who you really harming? And a lot of these games you can't get anymore, and you're not bringing them back, and you're not reselling. And yeah, I know that like a lot of retro collections have come back. Fine. If you want to say the most popular series, yeah, those are the ones getting the collections and coming back.
Yeah.
Although you say that Nintendo did bring back Famicom Detective Club, which I never thought they would ever bring back ever.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So that was a really weird one, and now we might rumored to have a sequel at some point, but very fascinating stuff. Yeah. And Jake's been really quiet because Jake just thinks Nintendo's getting wrecked, don't you?
I mean, I don't think they're getting wrecked, but I think it's like first I'm just been listening because like obviously I said like I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I wanna like look. I just looked up. There is a couple like lawyer channels that have already done stuff.
Okay.
And I want to. I'm very interested because obviously it's a big deal, and you guys are right. It's going to be like years before something happens from this, but like it's honest. It's going to affect me a lot, but it's also just like very interesting to me. So like I just
do you know what lawyer channels already did something on it? Because I want to watch too.
Yeah. Hold on one second. It was.
I know some of the big ones haven't yet, but they're probably taking more time to.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
Alex.
Oh no, it's
Alex-
Has a 20-minute video called
Neat.
Nintendo Will Destroy Emulation. Not the greatest title.
Is he a
Very
lawyer?
doomer, but
Yes.
you know.
Yes, he is.
Oh, I mean, if
Alex, who?
if that's his title, that almost tells you exactly what he's thinking going in. Like he looked
he's
at
not like
this and
huge channel. He's got like 60,000 subscribers.
yeah.
But like,
If he's a lawyer and he's looking at it, he's like Nintendo is destroying emulation, then what he's saying is fuck, Nintendo's gonna.
well, some ordinary
wonder-
gamers made a really good video on it too. But he's
Yeah,
not a lawyer.
he's not a
obviously.
lawyer though. No, he's just.
But
a
he's
researcher.
done some
would-
really good stuff with Carl Jobs that actually has had legal stuff come from it. But
Yeah,
I think.
I wonder
I
what
think
some of the.
if anybody should
Probably
cover this, I think Emily D. Baker should cover it because she.
Emily D. Baker.
Yeah,
I think
she
Legal
should cover
Eagle
it.
go at it too.
Yeah, Legal Eagle too. The reason that I
Yeah,
think
Legal
she
Eagle
should. The reason I think she specifically should is because she talks about like the legal stuff that happens in like pop culture, and
Well, maybe
video
that's
games
her
is pop
specialty.
culture. And
Yeah.
not only that, but like you know, just from what she said over time, because I like her channel. I followed her during the Dep v Heard thing. And
Oh,
so
yeah. Yep, I
essentially
do too.
I mean, over time she's just kind of said in piecemeal that like her kids play Nintendo. So I would assume that this is something she might even be interested in covering. And I don't know, maybe I'll send her a super chat one day or something and, be like,
and
hey,
it's important to note
talk
Hey,
about
yo.
this.
when you
please."
look at the lawyer channels covering it, the ones that are going to have the most credence would be lawyers that specialize in similar related stuff because lawyers do
And
specialize.
she's a criminal lawyer. She was a criminal prosecutor, so I don't know that this is
Yeah, so it's like
necessarily
some
up
might
her
say,
alley,
like this is
but
probably more. This could be more a case of copyright. This could be more a case
Yeah.
of
which would go better, which would sit better on Legal Eagle's desk.
well,
Yeah,
and,
but
and
Legal
Legal Eagle
Eagle
does
would-
bring a lot of people in
would-
too that are
someone just
rip
sent me
this.
something that a law firm is doing. They're doing a live stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. It's called Hogue Log. They have 100,000
Hogue
subscribers.
Law.
Yeah, Hogue
Yeah.
Law.
I know
He
Hogue
goes
Law.
doing
on
Nintendo
Legal
versus
Bites a lot.
Nintendo versus Yuzu, a legal look at emulation and the DMCA, and it's a live stream and it starts tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern.
I'm watching
Okay.
that. I'm
I am.
definitely going to
Cool.
tune
Dude,
into
I
Hogue
might-
Law.
I might
You should
live-
react.
Dude, I'm gonna live react to that shit. What time is it? 10 a.m.
Crazy.
Eastern?
Yeah,
Dude, I'm live
It's
reacting to
H-
that.
and at 10 a.m.
It's
Eastern.
HOEG, right? HOEG,
Yeah.
Hogue Law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they became
gonna
pretty
check
well
that
known
out.
during the Xbox versus FTC stuff too.
Yeah, I like Hogue. He's cool.
Hogo?
Hogue.
Right, that's a Hogue.
Or Hugo?
HOEG and then the word law.
HOEG. Okay.
Did you
Does
find
it
the
say-
stream, Nate?
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it up because I'm gonna watch it, probably live react to it because I'm very curious like what the actual legal people at this because we all have our
Same.
opinions and we can know like, oh, this is what we know, like has been illegal in the past, but like we don't know. Here's the thing: I've said forever that emulators are always a legally gray area, but are they? Let's find out.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yeah.
lawyers would know: is it actually legally gray or not? And if it is, does Nintendo have a way to? You obviously saw the one guy put it in this title. His opinion is Nintendo's about to wreck emulation because he thinks Nintendo's probably has a very good case.
Mhm.
But that's one person's opinion, right? Like
Right.
getting multiple lawyers' opinions and takes on it is,
Yeah.
I think, very
And
important.
obviously, I'm sure more and more will come out, like more like actual lawyer videos.
Yeah,
like
because
you guys were saying. But
a lot of
if I'm a
lawyers,
live
like
stream,
a
it's
legal
kinda
eagle,
sick. I like
yeah,
that.
like a legal
looking at
eagle,
the
they
kids
are
and
going to
stuff.
take their time because they're going to
Yeah.
dot their I's, cross their T's, and get every side of everything they can get. So it'll
Yeah.
be like
But-
a week or two.
Yeah,
But
And they can
boy,
clarify
do
stuff
I
in real
hope.
time.
I really
Yeah.
do hope that it comes out. I really do hope that Legal Eagle covers this because they
'Cause
have the biggest reach. And
They
I
do.
feel like the more people are informed on this, the better. Because I feel
Yeah.
like the law is just so confusing.
And right now,
I like our
fans are
lawyer
just
friends.
fighting. Right now, what I hate is because of this, there's so much like video game fans just fighting at each other because there's people that
Yeah.
hate emulation, hate piracy, and they want Nintendo to win. And then there's people that love it and think that it should stay and it's a key part of gaming and yada yada yada. What if I'm doing everything legally and I'm backing my own file, I'm playing my own shit? And everyone's just like fighting, and I hate it because
Listen,
we
I
all
don't think
just love playing video games.
right.
So I actually also appreciate the legal angle on things because honestly, this is a legal issue.
Yeah.
And it's going to have to get sorted out, and it's completely out of all of our hands. And whatever happens, positive, negative, or whatever, it is reality. And when it comes, and I'll just say this for people who love emulation, even if it is deemed to be illegal, they're not coming to your house. They're not taking you down. They're going to try to
start downloading a lot of stuff.
They're going to try to take a. It's just like ROMs. ROM sites are illegal, but
the worst part about living right now at this time is like video games, especially, but even like movies, whatever. When something gets out of print and it's not on a streaming service or it's not on NSO, right? It's not, you know, not on Netflix or any of those. You like you lose access forever. Like it just like sucks. Like Dogma, like you remember that movie? That's not on any streaming service, and the DVDs go for like $500, like $600 or something crazy.
I have,
and I know all this.
That's one of my favorite movies, and I can't watch it.
The funny thing is,
Mega Man Legends.
Actually, and this is one thing that in the
don't bring Mega Man Legends into the mix.
Depending on
Mega
how the
Man Legends
goes,
deserves to be here.
Right after $6 on the PSN store, but
I want to throw out there that this is one thing though that can end up working in the positive for consumers, depending on how the case goes. Is it sucks that it's not available, but also you don't have a right to it. They do. They control the availability. That's their legal right.
You're right.
What's interesting is Disney, when they were trying to prevent Oswald and Mickey and all this stuff from becoming public domain for as long as possible, one of the tricks they did is they started to have to put that little cartoon at the beginning of all they had to show the character was still actively being used in order to maintain it for more time. And I'm wondering if this is one of those things where, okay, fine, you still own the right for availability where it's going to be, but if it hasn't been available for 10 years, you lose that right. And that might force companies to be like, oh fuck. We got to now make everything available, and that's a huge positive for consumers if it goes that way.
And that would be the solve. I would love that.
Would be.
Like Nintendo just being forced. Hey, you give us access or you lose the game. It's everyone's now. Like that would be huge.
Lamb, I want to hear what you have to say, Lamb, because I want to build off of what you were starting to say right there.
Yeah, so I think this is the case even like when the Mickey stuff started and Oswald stuff started to come into play. It's like the question of, are these copyrights, patents, and trademark law going on for too long? Because like I feel like you're limiting your like 10 years maximum. It should be like anything should be kind of like, and then it's in public domain, because it's just you're really limiting creativity and you're limiting people's like ability to build off of other ideas at that point. And it's just like you want a more consumer friendly market, and I think it makes a more consumer friendly market when you have more restrictions on the company. I don't know, that's just me. And me personally, 10 years I think is too long for any trademark. I think 5 years.
I think that's interesting because
I would push it out a little further.
Just
in
it's
not crazy.
I'd say when you say like 5-10 years or whatever, I'm just sitting there, I'm like, man, so if I come up with an original character today and make a video game, I lose my rights to my character in 10 years. That's a little harsh.
Well, and that goes to the fact of like you could still continuing it to like, what is it like, where you can continue to like renew it. So like how they kind of do with Disney or how they do with Mickey Mouse, like the current iteration of it, that makes sense. And if you have a current iteration of it, then yeah, sure. Then I think that's a very good way to keep that character and that IP.
But it took me but it might have took me 5 to 10 years to make that game with the character. And now you're telling me
that's
the time to make the next one, I lose it.
I think
before I even get the second game out, I lost the rights to the first one. Shit.
Yeah. No, I mean,
that's not the way it exists right now. Anyways, what isn't it like? I looked this up a while. I thought it was 50, but then there were certain things you could do to extend it, which is what Disney was able to do.
I think Disney, it's extendable.
Yeah, because Disney got a
huge
like 2 years
precedent
ago
with this stuff.
And when was the first Winnie the Pooh thing?
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh was the first big one.
That was the first one, like I think 2 or 3 years ago. But that was literally 90 years. It was like 90 years.
One of the reasons why it's out there is because
90 years.
Winnie the Pooh does not belong to Disney. You know, it's a Christopher Robin novel, whatever. So it originally didn't belong to Disney. So the original character has
Well,
to be on.
most of the characters that Disney have didn't belong to
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disney
Let's
is just out here vacuuming up everything.
Mickey Mouse did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Nintendo is doing this right now as we speak because, like, I'm looking at patents all the time and looking at trademarks all the time, and I normally see that they always update something in Mario. Like the reason why Charles Martinet got fired, they got a new voice actor just to change something a little bit within his voice because that constitutes a change in the character. They can update the look of Mario, register that Mario as the brand new.
Like what people don't
Wait,
realize.
guys, I got the actual answer. In the United States, video game copyright lasts for the life of the creator plus 70 years.
That's
Oh,
a lot.
wow.
That's
Wow,
that's
crazy.
a
That's an
huge.
insane amount of time.
Yeah,
But
so
I also
So wait. If the creator of the game is still alive, the copyright lasts for 70 years after their death.
Yeah,
okay. So like
that's
So if a 20-year-old made a
crazy.
game right now and lived to be 100, it would last 150 years.
So
yeah,
let's
so,
say that
like the
person who
8-bit
designed-
version of Mario created by Miyamoto. Once he dies after 70 years, Nintendo that version would become public.
Nintendo
and the
is going to
version
keep
later.
him alive forever.
Oof.
And listen,
Yeah,
listen.
that's
the-
crazy.
He's going
That's why
to live longer than like Queen Elizabeth.
He'll
And-
probably
and
live longer than me. If I'm just
Yeah.
completely honest.
Yeah.
And if you look
same.
at the design,
That
the
guy's gonna be
design
like
for Mario Wonder,
120.
and if you look at the design for Mario Wonder, that brand new Mario from Mario Wonder, the new design, Miyamoto didn't create that one. It was another designer. So that designer created that 70 years after he dies. You know what I mean? So it's going to continue to evolve. Mario is always going to look different, just a little bit more and more and more.
Mhm.
It's a good design, by the way.
Yeah,
So-
the Mario Wonder
Wait,
one. I really like it.
Here's the sub thing to it. However, so it's the creator's lifespan plus 70 years. However, if the game, like what you just said, was created as a work for hire, where the game developer or publisher paid for the creation of the game, then the copyright lasts for 95 years from the date of publication or 120 years from the date of creation, whichever comes first.
So I'm trying-
Dang.
That's
But,
probably
you know-
what Disney
Still
was
an insane amount of
fighting
time.
with for like Mickey Mouse and Oswald and all that. That because that would be owned by the company. And so they hit the 95-year mark, and because I know Disney got it extended a couple of times.
They did.
Which I mean, look, in some cases, I do find it fascinating. Like, and this is the way I feel about like Mickey Mouse, and like, what if? Because it's not as popular today, but brands used to have mascots, and it feels weird for a brand to lose the rights to their own mascot, even no matter how old it is. That part feels weird. Like it would feel weird for just which it's not the case right now. It's the really, really old design of Mickey way back in the day that is in public domain. But it would just feel so strange to have Mickey Mouse be public, Mario to be public domain, when these are like mascot characters for an entire company that's existed for hundreds of years.
That's not going to happen in our lifetime, I don't think.
Yeah, it's not going to happen in our lifetime anyways, but maybe Miyamoto's lifetime.
And I'm pretty sure there'll be some
That guy
updates
looks
from Law.
as
That'll-
spry as
No,
he did 40 years
70
ago.
years after he dies, so it wouldn't. It's never in his
But
lifetime.
isn't- Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that someday a law will change that will protect the character for the life of the company. So if
And
Nintendo,
that could happen.
But
It
will it
hasn't
be
happened yet.
retroactive though, or will it just be going forward?
Yeah,
Forward.
I
I don't
mean,
think they
the law is very, very finicky. So,
yeah,
and again, Disney's the one that's been fighting it the most because they want to keep control of their mascot characters. So it's just quite fascinating to pay attention to. Obviously, we know what's happened with Winnie the Pooh since he's gone public domain. We've gotten some pretty interesting things have happened.
Yeah,
That I could be like Mario, and like imagine a day when like, hey, remember when they hired that one dude and they made the old Mario prawn back in the day, and Nintendo's like, we own that character. We're buying the rights and everything to that, and that is being shut down. Sorry, sir.
I'm
day when-
sorry, everybody. I'm so sorry, but I have a hard stop. I gotta
That's
skid
all right.
out.
It's so
Yeah.
late.
It's so late.
Oh.
Hey,
It is very
you
late. I
love
get that.
season 3. One of the things in season 3 is it would never be later than now.
Yippee!
But yeah, I gotta go. I gotta get my ass in bed because
Just tell everyone
Yeah.
where
I
they
gotta
can,
clock in the
where they can
morning.
find you on YouTube,
Yeah.
Sabrina.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm at Saffron City TV on YouTube, Instagram, Threads. Good luck on Threads. I don't even get on there that much. I
Yeah.
should. I'm bad at
Hey,
social
I'm
media.
on
I'm
Threads.
sorry.
You should find
Good
me.
it's a good backup.
Saffron City on TikTok. I don't have hardly any TikToks up either. I'm working on getting better at social media. I've lived off the grid for so long. I don't know if I like being back on a grid yet.
Content too, guys.
So
If you like,
yeah,
like Pokemon, especially
if you
old
like-
school Pokemon, but new Pokemon too.
Yeah. I talk about Pokemon regions. So if you are into Pokemon regions, come on over, check it out. You might like what you find. And I just appreciate Nate having me on, and I appreciate the opportunity to hang out with all of you fellas and enjoy a good conversation. So thanks again for having me. I love coming on
Oh
here.
yeah.
And she'll be back next week.
Woo!
All right.
2
Have a
weeks in
good
a
night.
row. Hell yeah.
Oh.
We'll see you next week.
All right.
Good to
We'll
see
see
you,
y'all
Sabrina.
later. Bye.
Bye.
On that note,
Bye, everyone.
bye.
Bye.
Let's transition to.
Wait. One more thing, Nate.
Yeah, sure.
Last thing. My fact checker here gave me one more thing. A mascot is a trademark, not a patent or copyright, and they do not expire. Unlike patents and copyrights, trademarks do not expire after a set period of time. Trademarks will persist so long as the owner continues to use the trademark.
Yeah, that was the thing that Disney was
Yeah,
doing by
there's
putting the
different-
character in at the beginning of the animations.
Yes.
So Disney has
So
a game.
there is a way already to protect a mascot for a company that already
Yep.
exists. Okay. So it depends on how they trademarked it. Hopefully Nintendo trademarked Mario as a mascot.
I'm sure.
They probably have at this point. But the
Yeah.
problem is if they didn't do it originally, they could lose the 8-bit version. That might not have been originally considered a mascot, so
Totally.
they could lose the rights to that one someday.
I've seen it.
That wouldn't be a big deal, honestly.
I've seen the trademark for the sprite. It exists with the image on it as well.
Sure. Yeah. I'm saying though, was it when they originally filed it back in the 80s, did it say mascot?
Oh, I'm pretty sure they had this gun back in the
I
day.
got it because it was in Donkey Kong first.
Yeah, I highly doubt. Like Jumpman is an example. I guarantee that will be Jumpman's gonna be public domain, which is 8-bit Mario.
Yeah.
That's gonna be wild when we get some jump.
But I'm
Man
sure at some
content.
point, once Mario blew
right.
up, when they renewed the trademark, they added the mascot, but that wouldn't apply to the prior thing that they filed.
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever. Jumpman someday is gonna be out in the public domain not long after I'm dead. Congrats, everyone.
Enjoy Jumpman horror games.
So how big is 2 inches, Jake? Just
Jesus
roughly.
Christ. Not you donating to your own
than
channel.
enough. You want to know how big 2 inches is?
Right there.
I'll be like,
Holy crap.
I will literally.
Holy
hire
crap.
this
The
now.
last
If
podcast
that thing comes on
ever.
button,
It was
I
great
am-
seeing you guys.
Goodbye, Jake.
They're
Was
they're
that a switch in your
actually
pants, or are you
joggers,
just happy to
so
see
they
us?
don't unbutton.
Jeez.
Why is it red?
Jesus.
All right. This Nintendo
What
Prime
do
guy
you
came
do?
in again. Not only did he summon Bama Hut and Bama Hut showed up, he also wants to know what is everyone's favorite dessert?
Cookies and cream, ice cream, or cake. I think cookies and cream.
I'm glad you had to clarify. You could have just stopped the cookies and cream and just left it. That would have been great.
Again, I'm just loving it. You're donating to your own channel.
Do it all the time. Where have you been? This is nothing new.
I've never seen you do this before, actually. Like donate this many.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You don't
I've
even
seen
know.
it. I've seen it, Austin.
Yeah,
amazing.
gifting members is one thing because that's different because you're giving.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the same thing as gifting subs.
Super chats are a little weird, but hey, we had no questions for the Q&A. I had to get some, and then also we got some questions.
Dude, dessert is honestly the type of thing that like it depends what you had for dinner. It depends what you're in the mood for. Like it's very like it changes.
Yeah.
You want different
I think
desserts at different times. You don't just want the
ice-
same.
You don't have a
dessert.
favorite. All right, guys.
I think ice
So you
cream
don't
is
have a
just
favorite. That's fine.
really safe.
It's just not that simple.
I
It's really simple
love
for me.
dude.
Very simple.
Maybe it's nostalgia
yours?
talking, but I would always just anytime I go to serve, like go somewhere get some soft serve. There was like a trailer thing that was in our small town where I grew up, and everybody, after the football game would go there or after something or whatever, and it's this, it's the summer. And you go there, it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, and you're just with your friends. I don't know. I have a lot of nostalgia associated with just getting some. I know, but I like soft
The
serve
only
ice
way I
cream.
can ever eat dessert, it has to be 10 o'clock. It has to be
No,
on
it doesn't
Sunday.
have to be like
No,
that.
I'm just- I know what you
I
were
have a
saying.
very
I'm just
soft
giving you a hard time.
spot.
And then
in
when
my
I
heart
get the
for
soft serve, I got to let it sit for 5 minutes because I actually like it to be a
Hey,
smidge
I'll
runny.
eat soft serve anywhere.
it-
I don't give a
Dude,
fuck.
isn't it
Like, I'll go to-
ironic that it's soft
but-
serve, but it gets you bricked up?
Yeah,
Oh,
it really
jeez.
does. It really does.
So I actually prefer soft serve better, like the McDonald's one, the little one, or the
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, something like that. Game Bird, do you have one? Do you have a favorite dessert?
You know, I'm not a big dessert person. I prefer like salty savory over sweet, but
That's
I guess
why
Oh, I've got you.
Wait.
I
Wait.
got you.
It's crazy.
We'll talk after the cast.
All right. Look forward to it.
That makes two of us. Anyways,
There's the two.
that's what I do when I'm nervous.
That's the
If
best
I had to
thing
pick,
ever to do when you're nervous.
I'd probably say maybe tiramisu. If I can pick candy, I'd go with like gummy bears or like Starburst favorites. I like little kid candy. I like all the
fruity
sweet.
stuff.
Dude, I do have favorite candy. Sour Patch watermelons.
Those are good.
So look, I'm just a basic ass bitch. Chocolate chip cookie. That's it. I can have that anywhere. Anytime.
Fresh baked is bomb.
Fresh baked,
That's
even
good.
if not,
Chocolate chip
pop
cookie
it
is
in the
good.
microwave for 5-10 seconds. It'll
fantastic,
be like it's fresh
actually.
baked.
How about
It's
the
a
chocolate
fantastic
chip
one,
ice cream
actually.
sandwich?
The what?
The chocolate chip ice cream sandwich. No, the
Oh
sandwich.
yeah.
Nah.
Those are good.
Just
No?
chocolate chip cookies.
How do you
hardcore.
mean? How is chocolate chip cookie your favorite dessert, and you don't fuck with chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwiches?
I've had chocolate chip cookie ice cream
Too
sandwiches.
creamy.
It's better on its own. That and a glass of milk, you're set.
Well, yeah, but do you like? So you would rather just like take the ice cream off if someone gave you one and just eat the cookie? Like this is better.
I'd rather just not have it and have a chocolate chip cookie.
Just a
Yeah.
creamy cookie.
Because the ones that they include with it, they don't
I
really
think
have
Mike
a lot of.
should have said.
No, when you buy when you buy those pre-made chocolate chip one, like the ones from the store, they don't have that much chocolate in them in the first place. Start with that. The cookie itself is completely crumbly and old. It's shit. It's a shit ass cookie.
No,
I'd
they're
rather
normally
just
like
have a
soft and
real
chewy, dude.
Yeah, no. They're
What are you talking about?
They're
When's the
fake
last time you
soft
had
and
one?
chewy. They're fake soft and chewy. They should only be soft and chewy when warm. A cold cookie? Get out of here.
Nabisco.
We did have a gift of membership by Bama after I saw them. Thank you so much, buddy. Let's
One
see
time
here.
I got in so much trouble, Austin, because I went in school and I was only wearing one of those.
Jorge, the $10 says, do you think we underestimate how much Game Freak had to adapt from making smaller handheld games to HD home console games?
A fuck ton, a metric fuck ton. I think it is a contributing factor to. I want to make a video essay about this at some point in the near future. It is literally one of the contributing factors as to why they can't output the way they used to. Like genuinely, I think that the fact that the jump to 3D is where you start to see the cracks in their games, and especially the jump to home console. Especially the jump to home console is where you just start to see the whole facade fall apart, in my personal opinion.
But my only gripe with that, I want to counter it just because I feel like there are other companies with less resources that have done it way better. So I'm just I don't understand why for Game Freak, one of the richest, Pokemon companies, one of the richest companies, Game Freak, with the best selling
Pokemon
Nintendo
company
games.
Is not Game Freak,
right?
And I know that you can technically siphon all the funds from Pokemon Company to Game Freak. However, they're not the same entity because the little debate lords online will do all that.
I'm getting mad teacher vibes right now.
Listen, I agree with you. You would think with all that resource, they should.
There are lesser companies that have gone on to do far greater things on a home console for the first time, and new companies that are like just throwing their stuff out there, So it's I don't know. I just feel like it's hard to give them a pass on.
Dude, he's got a pink bubble wand over there or something.
I agree. That's what you would call it. I do.
Yeah. And listen, I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. I think you make a really good point, and I'm sure there is a degree of a contributing factor.
So glad one of those bubbles didn't pop on your lens and make it all messed up.
Right.
I just wonder, like, why other things? Thanks. At least someone cares.
I care.
At least we have each other, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because no one knows who I am.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. Mike,
well, then you came on the wrong show. You are now known.
Mike,
No!
make a heart.
Stop it.
Nope. Mike, other side.
Other side,
one.
other side, other
Other
side,
hand.
Bird,
other
make a
side,
heart.
other
Yeah,
side.
yeah,
Oh.
Yeah. That way you guys can
Oh, yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
yeah. Now, go like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
I think we
right.
needed this podcast.
Also, did you guys watch GameSpot's latest video on the complicated business of Pokemon? No, I didn't watch it.
No, but I would love to. Someone link it in the chat. That'd be really neat and cool.
We had a member chat come in from Elemental Hero, the Shadow Link Dragon Wolf King. Have you all seen a recent A Drive video for Pokemon Legends AZ? Had some interesting takes. What are your thoughts on this? Keep the eye on Q. I have not seen it.
Have you ever guys seen a creepier mask than this one?
The only thing that's creepy is, the only thing that's creepy to me is that slit is making me think things that I shouldn't be thinking.
I'll answer this though. Like I don't trust any kind of Pokemon leaker anymore because like we have been sitting here for months being like, it's black and white too. Here are the chibi screenshots. Here's this. It's Let's Go Johto. Blah, 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 blah. Censor League, Cerebi. All of them motherfuckers got it wrong.
Puro was wrong.
Yeah, every single one
until
of those
it's announced
motherfuckers
later. Until it's announced later this year.
Then they would be right. But
Puro made it very clear that he didn't know shit about this goddamn presents. This is just something you heard. There was like a thing that circulated a long time ago, and I think everybody just got the same information from the same people.
Well, it's crazy to me that the Pokemon stuff is so kept under wraps, but the Nintendo stuff seems to be pretty like on
because it's a different company. Different company.
Yeah, whoever is connected probably works at Nintendo, not at.
Yeah, but say whoever's at Nintendo, dude, those Nintendo ninjas are like they are.
I've had a theory that he actually works for Nintendo, and this is all intentional.
Watching me,
I think he is a ninja. He is a ninja.
He's one of them.
He is the ninjas. What better way to get away with it than be the Nintendo ninja? Right? You'll never catch me now. Little Wario action. Our last one we had, unless someone else does a super chat and submits a question, $2 or up. Chris Gonzalez for $5 says, "I'm confused. If it's illegal to run emulators on games you do not own, I see YouTubers running and promoting ROMs frequently, and it confuses me."
That is legal.
It is. So right now, like if they want to run a game on an emulator and post it on YouTube, they can. They can't link to the ROM.
Yes.
But there are some YouTubers who have. They just haven't been caught yet.
Well, I would counter to that.
But
Point Crow got fucked.
Oh yeah. Wait, but he's
Point Crow
massive.
Really
he's massive though. Like it was very obvious he'd eventually get busted for it. But a lot of the
link, like he had, it wasn't. I don't think he had it direct. What he did was he had his Discord, right? And in his Discord, his
Discord had links to it, and so basically he was promoting it with anyways, it was a workaround promotion.
Yes, so, it was a workaround, but it was still promoting it.
Nintendo
still popped him for it.
But the point is that you can't link to the stuff. It is totally legal to use it for video purposes and stuff. It's just
well, people do it all the time.
There are people really very blatant out there that haven't been busted yet, that probably will someday. Yeah. It is what it is. Just like Point Crow, he didn't get busted for a long time either. It is what it is. That should have been the warning sign that, hey, if he got nailed, everyone can get nailed. It's just a question of when are they going to care to come after you.
Guys, Nate is absolutely right. Each and every one of you can get nailed, and I hope you do.
The call is coming from inside.
Dude, I don't know what's going on. I was talking to my wife the other day, and her favorite thing is getting nailed. I don't know why. I don't know why.
I should have guessed Jake made a.
I don't have the
right. I took my headphones off for literally half a second.
I didn't clarify what she meant by that, to be clear.
Yeah, I want to die. I'm in hell.
Yeah. I think it's best left up to the imagination.
Well, if she likes getting nailed, you got to just pound it, Nate.
I want to
leave. No problem.
What
chat? SOS.
What kind of podcast is this again?
You have to use right hammer.
Even Mike's getting in on this. What is happening? All right, Saffron City.
Use red hammer.
Dropped the $2. She just wanted to say goodbye.
I like that.
Good night.
Good night, Saffron. Enjoy your night. We'll see you next week. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode 61 of season 2 of the Nintendo Time Podcast.
Yippee!
About 8 episodes left because we got to end. Season 2.
Wait. If Saffron's still there, I have to tell you that Nate didn't realize for like months that like the reason your name is Saffron City TV is because your actual name is Sabrina, and that's the gym leader of Saffron City. And he just straight up did not know.
True.
I thought that was
Okay.
his last name. I
So
thought
when
it
we're
was
talking about for
noob.
months, you mean 3 days after we were
Not
getting
the
around and you told
balloon.
me?
No, there was multiple appearances. There was multiple appearances. Her second one was way after the first one.
Whoa. This is only her third appearance. She's only been on
Okay.
3 times.
It was after the second one, which was decades even.
Decades even.
I know you really should have, Sabrina. It's all right. It's all right.
Well, I swear she actually said it to me during the first episode she was on, but it's okay. It's okay.
No,
Could
I'm
be
pretty sure it was
wrong.
last time.
Just like I totally know the ending of Ocarina of Time, right? It's one of these things. Hey, I just beat it, so if I don't know it now, shit, I actually don't remember what happened. Now that I think back on it, like 4 days ago. All right.
Hey, Mike, your camera doesn't freeze when you do that anymore.
No, sometimes though it cuts his head and then it shoots it like up his neck. It's weird.
the balloon.
Oh, it didn't do it that time. Didn't do it that time.
What is that, Austin?
This is my anime figurine, Nanami. He's
I
from
like this one. This is
JJK.
one of my
I've literally
This
cosplayed
one.
him like a few times now. He's very attractive.
I was gonna say it kind of looks like you. That's why I was asking.
No, like dead ass. I've cosplayed him like two. It's like my pinned tweet if you go look, or it's like on my
this way.
it's like my Instagram too. Also, I got these look at these little tiny Pokemon. Aren't they so cute?
Oh,
They're
serious.
cute. They're like really high quality. They're not like the little cheap ones. It's so great.
That's
Sorry,
the
I'm
one
really
with
off track.
You should
Anyways,
get a little soccer ball
All right.
for him. Hey, we're having fun.
We're not in
Nate.
a show
God
and
damn
tell.
it.
Hey. You can save it for the after show. All right.
Hold on, I have a 2-inch figure.
I want
like
the audience. I know.
I probably should make like an after show for Patreon members at some point. You guys can hear our
Dude, are you
bullshit.
kidding me? We go late enough.
Yeah.
I've
I know.
never-
Well, the new show, this new season won't go that late.
Nate,
so.
if you did that, you'd literally have to the first half of the
Dude,
show.
I'd
would
never
be-
sleep.
you
I'd
would
never
have to-
sleep.
No, we have to cut the show in half. Like you would literally like we could go the same amount of time, but you would have to cut the
The
free
after
part.
show's never
at,
as
like,
long
100.
as the regular show. It's only gotta be like a half hour.
Oh, only a half hour. Yeah, people are gonna pay for the half hour. No,
Prime after hours.
Anyways, sorry.
Dude, can I share a personal story real quick?
No,
People pay me to shut up.
I'm
So,
kidding.
I
You
mean,
can say
I've
it.
had super chats literally telling Nate, "Will you just shut the
Maybe
fuck up?"
Yeah, you could say your thing. I'm so sorry.
Anyways,
No, it's
we're
gonna be
gonna,
stupid. It wasn't gonna be real. Don't
we're
worry.
gonna go ahead and wrap things up. Go around the room, tell people where they can find you and all that. We have links down in the
I feel
description
bad
as
now.
well.
You should.
Gamer Classic. I don't know if you want people to know. You've indicated several times that you're nervous and you don't want people to know you.
No. To be fair,
You're not.
if you guys like Nintendo, check out my channel. I'm one of, if not the greatest Nintendo YouTuber of all time. You heard it here. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, check me out.
Definitely
if you
the
guys,
greatest one here.
I'll say I'm not really on the YouTube scene yet, so or I am,
okay.
but not prolific.
Sorry, Mike. I was just trying to make fun of Nate, not you.
No matter
What?
who you are.
Wait, me? What happened? What?
What is happening?
Never mind.
I'm Nintendo Prime, bitch.
Gamebird, go ahead.
You guys
I
can find me at Gamebird Classic for Nintendo content. I do really weird.
He said doo-doo.
Cinematic doo-doo. I do really weird cinematic like comedy
Oh, you're
sketches
doing
sometimes for my intro. So if you guys, I'm
Dude,
sorry.
I love that. That's a vibe.
Yeah, I just did a collab with a bunch of other Nintendo content creators on just Restart, Sunbro Nation, Josie Well.
We don't know those people.
I did
I
a
saw that
really
one.
weird.
I saw that.
I did a
Andre,
really
you saw
weird
that guy
intro
suck.
for it that I was worried. I was
Let him
like,
talk.
well, a lot of these people don't know me. I hope that this intro doesn't weird them out too much. But so I did a little disclaimer for that one. But yeah, if you guys enjoy Nintendo content, if you like when things get funny and weird sometimes, definitely check me out. Good time. And Nintendo Prime, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. It was a blast. Cool to get to know you guys as well. Any excuse to talk Nintendo, I am down. So
Hell yeah.
would love to
let
be
me know.
back if the
Let me know
opportunity
future
arises.
Wednesdays. Let me just know if any
For
future
sure.
Wednesdays that you can come on. That we have slots pretty much every Wednesday for the next 2 months at least, except the 28th. Oh wait, no, the 27th, whatever it is, the last one of March. That one's packed already. Somehow everyone's coming. Rogers base is coming. Hoops is coming. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's a PAX
The
show
post
already.
PAX one, right?
I have no idea because I'm not going to PAX.
Oh,
So
yep.
I don't know.
Paul Gale in the chat. He was in that video that I was talking about as well.
Yeah, he was
the
in it.
collab. Check out, guys, if you want to see a weird skit, check out that video, the collab video. It's like two or three videos back. It's weird, but have fun.
All right. Let's see here. Blam.
They've done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
What are we listening to? That's crazy. Not the soundboard.
Anchorman, baby. Let's go.
My name is Lamb. I'm a Nintendo variety streamer on Twitch.tv, but I'm also on YouTube now. So we do lots of Mario Party, any collaborative events like Drunk Lethal Company. We host game shows, all that kind of stuff. I'm taking a little bit of a break this weekend, moving into next week, but tomorrow and Friday we got lots of stuff going for you. I mean, there's videos coming out. A big thing for me right now, follow my YouTube channel because it's literally 10 subs away from being monetized. So that'd be really cool of you. Be really cool. So like
Link, someone put Austin's channel in the chat.
Lamb.
All right.
Lamb. I mean, I'm linked down below. But yeah.
Lamb.
Help me out.
Next up we have Mike Odyssey.
This is crazy. This is
that
wild.
that was my favorite one of the whole show. That was
It was so bad. It
Can we
was
get
so
one more Squirtle, please?
Yeah, can we hit that again?
Absolutely
Squirtle,
not.
by the way.
Will.
Well, you can find me at the Mike Odyssey channel.
I'm leaving.
Monday through Friday. I got Nintendo news on the.
Listen here, motherfucker. Shut the fuck up.
I'm leaving. This is it.
Friday night
Just messing with
topic podcast live.
Okay, what the heck is this?
1, 2.
That's an announcer. That's an announcer.
1, 2. I'm trying to get ticket. Okay, 1, 2. All right, Monday to Friday content at the Mike Odyssey channel. Friday nights on the topic podcast. I'm basically doing so far. Still working on the new show. It's happening. It's working. The channel's going under major changes. All right. So if you want Monday to Friday news, we got Nate Prime, Nintendo Prime for the Monday to Friday news.
Not lately. I've been bad lately.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, my channel's gonna go through a different.
I've had too much shit going on in my life right now. I haven't been able to do anything.
Yeah. So
But hopefully that changes tomorrow because I say that every day.
Right. I mean, you gotta stay optimistic. But yeah. So I'm starting a new show very soon. Just waiting on new equipment to make it possible. The Mike Odyssey show. Mike Odyssey at YouTube. Mike Odyssey YT on Twix, right? Twix, Twitter, X, and on Instagram. I have a Twitch that I don't use that much. And that's about it. Yeah. And
next up in OnlyFans.
And yeah.
Oh,
True.
speaking of OnlyFans,
Here it is.
Hey, whoa.
we're gonna get some
I don't think I've
2-inch
cringed harder in my
destroyer
life.
content going, and let's just say I've been working out. All right, I've been getting a little shredded, right?
I see it. I see a little bit of
It's
gains
toned.
there. Let's go.
Just toned a little bit,
I
A
see
little
it.
bit.
but
It's a little bit.
we are gonna be. I can't say.
It's okay. You can trust us.
Going with the
Hold on.
flow. You're gonna be going with the flow.
Just
What is happening?
What kind of show is this?
use your imagination for now. OnlyFans.com/2-inch destroyer. You won't have to use your imagination. That was dedicated for Austin specifically.
Check, please.
All right. I think that's the end of the show. I don't know what just happened. If you're in the audio version, you were given
Missing
mercy
out.
tonight. You were given mercy.
You're lucky.
tonight. All right.
Yeah, you're lucky.
You're lucky. I did not need to see that coming. All right. That being,
Am I-
can't
am I-
even.
Bro, imagine
Come
we had a Patreon. Like, if you had a Patreon
Look,
episode,
we just
Jake
had a
would just
real
straight up.
performance put on.
Please put me out of my misery.
All right, guys. That was episode 61 of season 2 of the Nintendo Prime Podcast. We'll be back same time next week. Later, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Oh, there.
Hey, you can't do the outro.